This broadcast is brought to you by Logitech G, Motorsport Australia, Playseat, The Gamesman, OG Gear, SimSpeed TV, Speed Cafe, and the Australian Sim Racing Group.
The human hand, the ultimate biomechanical tool. We design mice for the hands of the best. Hundreds of tests, thousands of metrics, refining every curve in every millimeter to provide breakthrough performance for every hand and every player. Introducing the Pro X Super Light 2, compact, designed with pros, engineered to win.
Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
Hi, my name's Courtney Prince and last year I competed in Porsche Carrera Cup with BWT. Today I've been on the Sims with the OG race gear. I love the new gloves, they're really breathable and awesome so you don't get sweaty hands using your normal race gloves on the Sim. The socks are also really good, you don't get sore feet on the Sim. I also think in training they'll be really handy as well.
We are gaming fanatics. Our goal has never been to just play games. We think it's much better to feel like you're actually in the game. This feeling is what drives us as we create world-class gaming chairs. Our one aim, give you a brand new gaming experience. help you move in perfect sync with everything on screen. Make sure you're having a ton of fun. It took us decades to achieve this, and we're still not satisfied. Every day, we wake up to get better. We'll never stop designing the very best to help you be your best. When it's all said and done, our job's only done if you're in full flow and focused on your victory. May you win, and win big.
Boys in the back wearing all black, staying on track. Black chef, show your gun, and that's on me. Out here getting this beer, if you work for the times, all better retreat. Coming too icy, come too clean, could never move shady, ain't no fiend.
Shotgun, London, what's the outcome? Hop on the front door, it's like midnight. Don't need your grip, cause you might fall out again. Off-white whip, need for speed, I'm not switching the lane. Pick up the pace, go like that, more back to the base.
Back to the base. Back to the base.
After 10 rounds of the Logitech G Pro Invitational for 2025, there's 2 left to go. The hard part is deciding whether the championship finale is more important than the Bathurst 1000. I know for a lot of drivers up and down pit lane, important than the Bathurst 1000. I know for a lot of drivers up and down pit lane, at least there's a chance of glory here this weekend. Chance of glory that's not related to the championship whatsoever, and if they win this one, it will stand right atop the pile in terms of their memories on the sim for a long time to come. That is what's on offer here this weekend. Additionally, we could sign ourselves a champion before this time tomorrow. That is what stands in front of us. But before we get there, qualifying for the Bathurst 1000. We've got 30 minutes worth of qualifying here tonight. Then we're off to a shootout. Before we get there, we've got some Porsche Cup action just to come your way as well. So the support categories are here and in operation. And Sandman, it's good to hear that you're finally a little bit better. You're back out here, and I tell you what, there is no one else I'd rather be sitting alongside for this qualifying session. Here comes the 1000.
You are very kind, Scotty. Thanks very much. Yes, I haven't. I'm probably not firing on all 8 cylinders tonight, but hopefully the voice hangs in there for 1000. This is the one race I never want to miss. It's the pinnacle of our series, and every time we come to the mountain, no matter what it's for, I just get pumped. And it's one of these races that stands out in my mind, as is for everyone, is that if you're part of a series like this, whether you're behind the scenes, if you're part of the broadcast, or if you're part of the officials, or whatever you're doing, this is the one race that you just wish you were in the sim. I wish I was racing around the mountain. And that's how special it is to everyone. And mate, I'm absolutely super pumped. I can't wait. It's the biggest and best race of our year. And mate, what more can I say? Let's get the cars on track. I am itching for this.
Well, it's one of those things that you and I talk about from time to time. You don't want to be in the stewards box. Well, after talking to Luce Rosella, Adam Briggs, a whole bunch of the guys this week and on the Paddock podcast as well, one of the things that kept coming up was, what are your thoughts about the Gen 3 car? It's a driver's car. And I said to them and laughed about it, well, that means I'm definitely staying in the commentary box then, mate. So bad news. There's a lot more skill that goes into this one than the Gen 2. And also worthwhile thinking about, this is the first one in Gen 3. What does the remainder of the weekend look like? Well, this afternoon, and this evening, 6:15 p.m. AEDT. That's where we are right now. We're a little bit beyond that. The broadcast kicks off here for qualifying. We are 2 minutes away from kicking on over into the half-an-hour qualifying session, and from there, we'll kick on into the shootout. But before we get there, 7:25 p.m., we'll have the Porsche Cup support races. There'll be 2 of them. And there was a little bit of talk about potential weather in the offering for those. Looks like that's now passed by the wayside. And then it's on to the shootout. 15 drivers, because we've got 45 entries here. A little bit more than the Real World Series means we expand the shootout just a little bit more. And 5 extra drivers get a crack at a very, very quiet mountain. Mate, Zach and I both had an opportunity to introduce this place this week. This is your turn.
Well, Mount Panorama, if you mention Bathurst, everyone knows where this is on the calendar. It's just one of our biggest and best. It's our bright star. It's our jewel crown for motor racing, Mount Panorama Bathurst, of course, in New South Wales. It's probably one of the trickiest 23 corners. The undulation in this place is incredible and iconic no matter where you look, whether it's from Griffin's Bend into the cutting, up around Reed Park, Sulman Park. And of course, when you think about Mount Panorama, you think about Brock Skyline, the S's, and don't forget about that awesome Conrod straight where you try and grab as much tow as you can from your competitors in front of you and make that push into the chase and dare, if you will, make a move up the inside and get yourself ready to pump. And what is it, 161 laps around this racetrack? But my, oh my, you know, the guys are thinking about qualifying right now, and I know that they will be thinking about every single corner of this racetrack.
Yeah, and well, our GT3 compatriots yesterday, they do a little bit quicker of a lap time around here. Lap times in the race yesterday didn't quite get down to the 2-minute flats. We're not going to be seeing lap times that are of that caliber here on board a supercar. That's not in the offering, but can we see something down into the 205s? Based upon practice times at the moment, Andrew Gilliam's the only driver so far to set a 205.9. We are currently at 10:30 a.m. in sim time, and I believe our actual qualifying will be pushing on a little bit later into this session as well, which is worthwhile thinking about, keeping an eye on in the background as well. There was talk earlier on in the week that there might be a touch of rain just sneaking around the circuit, potentially there, potentially coming our way. That has snuck away, and that means that we will get ourselves a dry qualifying session here this afternoon.
And I think that's good for all teams, competitors, and anyone who's watching at home. I think qualifying, you don't want that to be impacted by weather. You know, half wet, half dry. I think that's the last thing that anyone wants. If we're going to be at the mountain and have the best crack we can, I think we want the conditions same for everyone. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of cloud cover from time to time, but that's what we want. A nice dry racetrack for qualifying. The next 30 minutes will determine who will make the top 15 shootout. And this is where we're at now. All the cars are on track now, making their first way and their first trip around Mount Panorama as they get ready to pump out at the fastest lap they can and put themselves in the shootout.
Yeah, and I spoke, so it was 10:30 a.m. for the practice. So many benefits of iRacing. We get to do a large jump forwards into things, and then we get the opportunity to go into qualifying. I had a message actually just come through from Mike Korolev. He wanted to jump on board and come and say hello to us prior to getting started in qualifying. Mate, you just quite missed that one. Welcome aboard the commentary box here tonight, and what have you got for us this evening?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Hope you have a good call tonight. Just a quick a note to you guys in the comms box and to those viewing that we have car 55 and car 458 will not be qualifying tonight. They will be rear good starts for tomorrow, so they won't be out there tonight. And car 19 is unable to qualify tonight, but they will be on the back of the grid tomorrow in front of those other 2. So that's from race control, just so that you guys are aware.
Mate, I thought you were coming in here to rough us up a little bit and tell us that we all deserve to stay in the commentary box and we're banned from taking part in qualifying too. But
that's never the case. You can never keep a good person down, and by that I mean Sandham. So
There's a quick 50 coming your way, Korolev. Thank you.
Oh, is that all? Wow. I'll know for
get out of here. No. Back to your booth, thank you. You get out of this.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good call, gents.
Thanks, buddy.
Mate,
any chance he gets, he'll give someone a clip.
Yeah. But he likes you. You're actually one of his big favourites by the sounds of things. I'm not. There you go. Well, I've been sticking the barbs in all week, which has been part of the fun of prepping for this event. Glenn Postlethwaite is going to kick us off. He's the first driver to get out there and get amongst it for qualifying. So a reminder, I believe it was 55, 4, 6, 8 and 19 were the 3 cars unable to qualify here tonight. Car 19 was with no one entered in the server, no one actually able to attend qualifying. The other 2 with previous rear grid starts from that one. So big thanks to Mike Corrillo for jumping in and saying hello.
Yep, no doubt. That team have got their work cut out for them. You know, we talk about, you know, the praises that we give our stewards each and every round, but when you talk about the 1,000, you know, no doubt they're going to have their work cut out for them, definitely for this weekend. But, yeah, they've got a big job and a big weekend ahead of them.
Well, replay for car number 28, Big Faulkner. Big lock up into turn 1. Bails out on lap 1.
That was smart driving. You see, Ben, he'd had a massive moment and he could have tried to fight it and carry on with it. But what he did is got out of it and headed down the escape road just so he could do a quick flick spin. So that was actually good heads-up driving there from Ben.
Yep, means he'll abort his first flying lap and probably find himself off sequence in terms of qualifying here as well. And at this point in time, Posy nice and accurate down to the end of the chase. Cloud cover is increasing at this point in time, so there is an opportunity for this circuit to get a little bit faster, and already it's getting a touch cooler. Just actually take another quick look at the forecast, and the forecast has changed fractionally again, but having a quick look at the cloud cover in session, we will get no rain for qualifying. There was a 15 to 20% chance prior to the session starting. That has now devolved to a 7% chance across the duration of the session, and I don't see any rain on that radar, which means that we're not going to get any. Glenn Postlethwaite, great opportunity for the tyre power entry, partnering with Synergy Sim Racing, will come to the line, matching the livery of the car he drives in the real world. 207.513 will be the first time that gets set from qualifying here tonight. Car number 94, the first car down on the 205.9s for Jared Philsell. He gets a phenomenal time. How about car 17? Set pole position last night in GT Pro. Can he do anything here from first time of offering? It is a 206. Looks like it's going to be a midway through for that one. He will slot into 6th place at this point in time. Look at the amount of drivers bailing out on lap number 1. Although, 2-minute lap time, there's a lot of room to find a little bit of free air. Here comes Ian Ford. He'll also dive back into pit lane.
Geez, how's the track temperature and the conditions too? Because we were talking about in that practice session we had leading up to qualifying, it was Gilliam. He was the only one in the 5s. He punched out a 5.9, and on the first lap, Jared Philsell's done that with a 5.915. So plenty of pace in the racetrack. It'll be interesting to see if that time stays good. Oh, a little bit of contact there, I think, just on the outside. Might have just scuffed the wall there for Philsell.
Yeah, so pressing on, everyone. This is lap number 2, so this will be the in lap for these guys. Reminder, top 15 times from this session will make their way into the shootout, and there are 36 drivers out there for qualifying, plus 3 who are unable to qualify here this evening as well. Point in time. Just waiting for that second run lap. So here's the difficult part for us, is it's going to be quite a long cool down session as well, because you've got to think about, they've got to do their flying lap, and then 2 minutes after that they'll get back to pit lane, and then about another 3 minutes after that they will get through to start their next flying lap. So quite a long time in between these sessions. Early on though, all of the main guys have managed to put down a lap. In fact, Josh Anderson's probably a little unhappy with where he's qualified. Have a look at car number 7. Ryan O'Sullivan, co-driver on board Ethan Grieg-Galt's machine. He's actually taken a qualifying. He was quick in the co-driver crash on Wednesday night, you know.
And look, it's still early. That's only their first, like you touched on, it's their first lap. So everyone's had one run at the mountain. So they'll all have another second crack. And a lot of the teams and drivers, they'll probably know where they made that little mistake, where they probably gave away a little bit of time. So it's always a good feeling, heading back to the lane, put on a new set of Dunlops, go out and do it all again. It looks like rush hour in the middle of Sydney at the moment, but once everyone gets sorted, they'll get back on track, take their time. But it's not panic stations. These guys will be pretty happy that they've got themselves a decent number. Anyone inside the top 10 will be pretty happy with that first lap. So everyone else are like, all right, well, let's see what else we can find as this session goes on. 22 minutes to go.
It is comment as well noted. Thank you, Scott Gamble, because that's an important point to note. Humidity is rather high, up at 71%. Ben Faulkner, car number 28, out of sequence. Already documented that moment that he had. This is his start of his first flying lap after bailing out a little bit earlier on. He will have to try and make the best of it that he can. Wayne Burke's actually coming out of pit lane in one of the better Vermilion cars so far this season. But for Ben Faulkner, what's he going to be able to do for us here this evening?
Well, for me, his concern is traffic. So he's on a hot lap, and we've got everyone that's just coming out of pits. So the only thing he'd be worried about is maybe catching someone at the wrong point over the top of the mountain when these guys are prepping for the next lap. It's not a big issue as far as, you know, when you're out of sequence with everyone else, where you might not be able to sniff a little bit of draft, because as we've noticed with the Gen 3, you don't make up that massive gain like you used to with Gen 2. Oh, big moment there from Ben as that car slid out up against the wall. He didn't touch it, thank goodness, but he's pushing on with it. So,
there you go.
Out of sequence.
He did actually get the wall up and by the grate, so that'll be another lap abandoned. So nearly 10 minutes into this session, and he's not going to have a lap time on the board.
Let's try and push on.
No, I think he's bailed.
Bailed out of it.
Yeah.
That's the pressure, isn't it? The pressure of the mountain. It's not the easiest of tracks at the best of times. Here we go to OG gear replay. Up over the ripple strip, and bang. He's hit it flush, but still that's enough to sort of give him grief. Not ideal, but thankfully, yes, you know, his attempt has gone out the window, but still 20 minutes on the board, so it's not panic stations just yet.
I think worthwhile pointing out as well is that qualifying conditions in iRacing means any wall contact or car contact whatsoever will null and void the lap. So it was quite early on in his session. I wonder if he's going to go back to pit lane and start again. Madison down. I was curious whether or not Madison would be participating here tonight. It's been off and supporting friends and family at the Challenge Bathurst event. And for him, this is his first flyer as he comes down to the final corner. Is that Dylan Pereira in behind? I believe it is as well. So we've got an opportunity to see how a few of these cars go at setting their first flying laps. And for Madison down, 2:06.7, only good enough for 19th at the moment. Pereira was only fractionally behind him on board car number 61. So not much between those two cars. Again, how good's Ian Ford sniffing look every time he catches the Castrol car?
That was me. I don't know if you heard me just going, oh, absolutely love it. And I was stoked to see it at Sandown, where Randall had it on his car too. It just looks so good. And yeah, I just love that it's such an iconic paint scheme, and it's very near and dear to my heart, as probably it is for a lot of people. But even to see it in the sim racing community, it's so good that they've dusted it off, and yeah, really looks the part.
Gilliam at the moment, I believe we've just been passed information a little bit earlier on. Shane Van Gisbergen has been accepted, and I believe that's in a co-driver role, and the only car that would necessarily have that spot open and available would be Gilliam. So we'll have to wait and see where Van Gisbergen will pop out in a co-driver role at this point in time. So for now, the run down to the chase. Glenn Postlethwaite just in front of me. Have a look at how good the Lobs car is on the anchors and how many car lengths he pulls back in. He'd be getting a fair bit of a tow with the amount of cars that are out there. That's Bo Albert, who'll peel off at a pit lane. He won't finish that lap that he's currently on. 18 minutes left in the session. Gets quite close to that bump up through the final corner. I wonder whether or not you feel like he might have been impeding a fraction. 2:06.081, so at least he's consistent there from Gilliam. But Rattray White has managed to put a faster lap in. He will shuffle up to the pointy end of things now. Getting word, he might have just had an engine pop.
He certainly did. Actually, he'll have enough to roll back to the lane here. So yeah, it's not going to be night over for him, thankfully, for where he detonated it.
was interesting just to see where he was working on that line as well. There's not much he can really do because he's got no power.
Yeah, yeah. He's still obligated to give, you know, obviously be careful rejoining and making sure that he doesn't collect anyone with him as he tries to head back to the lane. But if you're going to blow a mode up, we're thankful enough that in our series, if you can get back to the lane on your own accord, I think you can push on. So he was very lucky to detonate where he did.
I was actually having a look at some onboard footage, courtesy of Ruben Goodall and a few others on Discord after the co-driver crash. They're all sort of just hanging out and enjoying things. And we've got Adelaide obviously coming in the near future. Whether or not it's as a part of the end of season build or whether or not it's a little bit later on down the line, it might not necessarily make it in time. But the one big thing that they did show, and we're talking about Townsville footage, Adelaide footage, a few different places worth of footage, was turn 8 at Adelaide. My word, it's a lot wilder from the onboard footage than anything I've seen ever. I was cringing in my seat watching.
Yeah. Yes, I've never been lucky enough to obviously race in real life at that racetrack, but yeah, the onboard, when you see it, it looks like it gets so narrow through there, and for the speeds that they're carrying through that corner, you can see where, you know, I think arguably it's one of Australia's toughest corners, you know, because you're so committed through there, and if you don't make it out the other side, it's usually a massive shunt. So, yeah, can you imagine what that could bring to our series? As the excitement of having Adelaide is just brilliant.
Caught up with Jack Wittes at Bathurst. He was on the spanners for a couple of the Porsche Cup cars as he does, and business on the front end of that car. Carjack mechanic is his own. He'll dive back into pit lane. The Racecraft Simulations machine, so no opportunity of an improvement for him. There's a big group of cars queuing at the end of pit lane right now. We'll head out for another warm-up lap and another opportunity. So I think that's, 3 attempts at qualifying thus far? Halfway through the session, that gives us 3 more opportunities to try and force yourself into the shootout. And the difference between the guys who are on the outside of the shootout and won't get a crack to the guys that are in is currently Jacob O'Reilly 4 thousandths of a second behind Matthew Bowler. Bowler's the first car in, Jacob O'Reilly the first car out. 206.652 is currently the marker to beat if you want to get yourself a crack into the shootout. And have a look at Ben Falker, still yet to set a valid lap time on board car number 28 for Vermilion Sim Sports. And I wonder if he's the only one. Yeah, he is actually.
It's not panic stations yet, but we always talk about how crucial it is to get a banker. And as this session gets longer and longer, you think, well, yeah, you look at the time and think, oh, look, man, you still got 14 minutes. But you touched on it before. You're looking at 206, 207, 208, you know, for a lap time round here. Then you've got to get back to the lane and have another crack. So, yeah, the time dwindles away so quickly around this racetrack. And, oh, he's touched the wall again there, Ben Faulkner. Oh, he looks like he might have gone again. So that's the double, possibly. I think Ben just needs to calm down a little bit. It's probably playing on his mind that he hasn't banked a lap yet. Unfortunately, he's just making these little whoopsies. But there's still time. Someone just needs to get in his ear and say, hey, Ben, don't worry about it. We've got time up our sleeve. Let's just bank one. Let's make it count. Let's not worry, you know, that we're too concerned about sort of where it's going to put us on the totem pole. But let's just put something down.
And for now, think about the guys that are actually inside of that shootout at the moment. Adam Briggs, this is one of his better qualifying of the season as well. Onboard car 72, partnering with Ewan Baker on Sunday. How about for those guys that are further up the totem pole? Do you go back out? You just go, okay, we're in the shootout. That's good enough for me. Or do you want to be later on in the shootout?
Yeah.
You want to see what's on the list before you go out there and you have a crack at setting your lap? Or does that make you more nervous sitting and waiting?
Oh, I think I'd be concerned that if I'd banked the time and then late in the session, if the track changes a little bit, and your time doesn't hold up and you slip out of that 15, that'd break my heart, I think. And someone who I'm a little bit flushed about at the moment is at Madison Down, P19 at the moment. So, and of course, for people who may have tuned in the other night, a massive congratulations to Madison Down, who was one of the first inductees into the Australian Sim Racing Hall of Fame. So massive honour for Madison. Couldn't be more happy for him. But I think for now he's just concentrating, and obviously he's been away and he's actually at Mount Panorama at the moment, but well, he has been for the last day or two, and he's probably not as prepared as he's been. But I don't think it'll be a concern that he won't make the top 15. It's just probably a little bit longer. We're going to have to wait a little bit later than what we're used to.
Ethan Greg Galt's just won on board car 7. So Ryan O'Sullivan set the early laps for that car, but now Greg Galt's gotten behind the wheel. So that's interesting to note. They've actually had both of their drivers setting a lap time, which very, very interesting on board that car. Also bodes well for what their pace looks like come Sunday. They'll have two drivers on board that car. Madison down to the final corner, to the line. What's he capable of at the back end of this one? Is it going to be an improvement? It's a 6.98. Is it enough to get him in? No, it's not. At this point in time, he's less than a tenth of a second on the outside. 6.25 now the time to beat. Bo Albert's on the inside. This now probably becomes a critical lap for him as he'll dive for pit lane. So his next lap is going to be really, really important to him.
Jeez, how close is it? You know, when you're talking about the likes of Madison Down needing a 10th just to make that top 15. Like, mate, that's incredible. So I think it's good that a lot of people are still probably out there. They're not just going to sit in the pit lane and think, well, I'm inside the top 10, or I think even the top 10, you can't be too careful just yet. The likes of Phil Sell and Zach Rattray White, they've obviously punched out 205s. I think they're sitting pretty at the moment. But, yeah, there's obviously still a lot of people there worried about the cut-off line.
Well, I would say if you're in the 5s, you're guaranteed to get in. I think if you've set anything better than probably a 6.2, you're good enough. You don't necessarily need to go hunting. Jared Philsell, again, continues to show the run of form that they've got on board that car. Goes once again back to the top of the timing sheets, 2:05.8. That's probably enough done from him. That's probably as far as he necessarily needs to go. I tell you, and this was actually one of the points that we were talking about earlier on in the week as well with Rosella, Briggs and Bo Albert, was nerves. And when the nerves start to build, I get nervous when I have to go back out and do something again. I said at that point in time, you know, cricket, nervous. I get nervous sitting around waiting to bat. If the first cab off the rank inside the shootout, I get out there, I get my lap, and I don't have to sit through those nerves anymore. Do you get nervous the later on it goes into the shootout? Well, there'll be a couple of drivers that are a little bit nervy. That the deeper into the shootout's actually worse for them. Who amongst that field? Josh Anderson maybe strikes me because he gets fidgety, he gets twitchy, he gets unsettled with himself in terms of that lap. It might be a better thing for him to go early on in the session.
I think one of the unique things about endurance racing and this race in general, it's 1,000 kilometres. You can basically win this race from anywhere on the racetrack. It doesn't matter where you qualify. Obviously makes your day better. If you've got a fast race car, you're lapping pretty well. You've got a great teammate and everything's quick and everything's fast and everything's right. Sure, it makes your day easier, but doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to win the big one just because you're sitting on pole or you may even be inside the top 10. So that's ideally, it makes your day a lot easier when you qualify better. But you're never out of it for the 1,000 regardless of where you qualify.
That'll be the big thing. Have a look at Ian Ford now inside. Remember, Bo Albert was on that marker just a moment ago, 6.25. He's now been shuffled a little bit further back. Somebody else has pushed their case a lot further up. Have a look at the margins at the top. 43 thousandths, 38 thousandths, 82 thousandths, 5 thousandths for Ando is the difference between him and fourth spot in the session at the moment. Dylan Gunn's had an issue. I think that's a pit lane entry or exit violation for car number 1. So just check that car's actually in pit lane. So it was an entry violation for car number 1. So he's actually good to go. Don't be too worried about that one. Blake Warboy is currently on a flyer.
I know we love our race cars all painted with pretty colours and logos, but gee, she looks pretty tough in black, doesn't it? That looks incredible.
Yeah. Synergy Machine. Hunting in all black for those guys. Jordan Ross and Blake Warboys combined on board car number 143. And for Blake Warboys, what's he going to be able to pull out of this one? Is it going to be a 5? How high into the 6 is it going to be? It's a 7-1. So he's not finding time at the back end of this session. There'll be probably enough time for maybe 2 runs. Maybe. Definitely at least 1. But getting that second part of that run in is not going to be the easiest. Ruben Goodall, car 53. He's actually qualifying that car for himself and Hayden Veld this weekend. car number 53. Remember, they were quick back at Sandown. They'll be thinking about one that got away. Here's Bo Albert at the moment. First car on the outside. Needs to improve and needs to find time. And this starts to build pressure at the back end of this session.
The thing concerns me is he's got traffic around him too. So if he's improving on this lap, even though if you have to check up just by the slightest little bit, it's always a little bit unnerving when you've got cars around you. You just want that clear racetrack. It's catch-22. I said these Gen 3 cars don't suck up a lot as far as slipstream as they did compared to the Gen 2. But you just want that little bit of clear racetrack just so you don't get held up that little bit. So that'll be playing on his mind a fraction. There is that tiny bit of margin between the two, but it could change as we get closer to the start-finish line.
Yep, this will be critical right now from Bo. Can he get a good exit down and onto Conrad through the elbow? Nice and tidy on the way in, nice and tidy on the way out. That looks pretty good, but he's still going to have to try and find some time. Track temperature's up at 31.1 degrees Celsius at this time of asking. Back end of the session, 6 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. There is a touch more than 5 minutes to go on the session. And if you have not set your best lap time, you need to have something reserved. 2 Lobs cars parked up on the inside of the chase. They're getting set to start their next round of flying laps in what would probably be their last attempt at a flying lap.
Looks like he's going to go on with it. He hasn't been held up. He's had that tiny little bit of a toe. What's he going to be able to do? He needs to beat a 6.6 just to make the top 15. He'll cross the line, a 6.4. So it puts him in P13.
Massive improvement now for Bo, right when he needed to find that one. That moves himself up. A big whack. Brenton Hobson, 206.561, becomes the new bubble driver. And
Come on, 40.
There's actually a big margin from Hobbo, just over 1/10 of a second to the next car ahead of him. So there is a fair opportunity for somebody just to improve a little bit, plug their car right in the middle there. Here comes Ian Ford.
We touched on it. Just a great looking paint scheme. And the problem is, in our industry, you become friends with a lot of drivers and you don't wish bad luck on anyone. You don't want to say, oh, I hope they make the top 15 and hope that pushes this one out. And then you think, oh, no, that's another friend. I don't want them to be pushed out either. But, man, you look at this paint scheme, it's like, geez, I want this in the top 15. This just looks so good. Oh, big slide there. He's done his best. He's tried to pop it across the line. He hasn't improved. But, boy, oh, boy, if he was getting award points, that was all for show there, and he got away with it.
That's the big thing here this evening is no style points on offer. For Madison Down, needs to improve. And for him right now, he's going to find probably about a tenth and a half of a second to get inside of that top 15. 19th place, only just outside. So he's straight to the pit lane.
He's got one more crack. Who would have thought? This is a talking point. Who would have thought that we would be speaking about Madison Down just being able to make the top 15 shootout? I don't think anyone saw that coming. That just goes to show the strength and the capacity of our field. Like, it's just the numbers just get tighter and tighter each and every week. And when you've got the likes of Madison Down struggling to make the top 15, that really says a lot, and says a lot for our drivers, especially everyone inside the top 15.
Jacob O'Reilly's on a hot lap at this point in time. Here's a replay of how hard he's pushing. Up and up the crest of the hill underneath the trees.
Oh,
right up he didn't get it, but there was nothing left on the table right there.
The old cigarette paper between him and the wall. That's unreal.
Righto, for O'Reilly. Was quick in the Acura yesterday, but results didn't go their way. They fell to 4th in the championship for GT Pro. What's he able to do on board V8 Supercars hardware? Is it going to be good enough to make his way inside of that 15? Doesn't need to find much. He's only going to find 2 spots and aborts that lap as well.
Yeah. Smart, because if you're not going to do it, there's not enough time to go around, come into the pits. So there is enough time at the moment for him where he's at, put on a fresh set of tyres and have one last crack at it.
Righto, for these guys, final couple of corners for Brian Borg and Jack Whittis. And a big old mistake for Borg. He bails out.
Yep.
Teo Sorono would like to improve.
Oh, do you know what that could do? He could be bringing gravel. That's a bad spot, that last corner, because he's going to rejoin, possibly put a lot of garbage on that last corner, which could make it very interesting. It'd be interesting to see how much. He's not bringing too much onto the track, which is actually quite fortunate, because there'll be a lot of people just praying for that clear bit of racetrack and no marbles all over there. So good heads up there.
Final 2 minutes of the session. Blake Warboys and Dylan Pereira both on a lap currently. It will be their final lap of the session. There will not be enough time for them to get back out there and set another lap. We've just seen Tyson Broad go through, and Bo Albert took a shortcut on his run down through the S's. Time is running out. 15 spots available to us for a top 15 shootout. The only opportunity of the year as these guys continue pressing on, which means if you want to get out there and set a lap with the mountain all on your own, you've got to nail it right here. You've got to nail it right now.
Pereira's improved a tiny bit in Sector 1. Oh, he's down a tiny bit in Sector 2.
Is that a wing mirror laying on the ground there? There's been some sort of damage at the elbow.
You'd be surprised. Is Pereira going to be able to sneak just that tiny little bit from Blake Warboys? These guys, this is their last lunge to make the top 15. Obviously, they will cross the line to make another lap, but usually the best part of your tyre is already used up, and it's hard to push on for that next lap. But they'll have a red-hot go as they come to the final corner. Are they going to make the top 15? On the outside looking in.
I can tell you it's just at 7 p.m. in at the moment, which means that qualifying is about to expire. 30 seconds left on the clock. What were these guys able to do? Were they able to drag themselves in? No was the answer. Hobson now on the bubble. Ian Ford, what's he got for him? Madison down. Could this be his worst qualifying performance in ASRG history? From Logitech V8 Pro, there's a wing mirror on the ground at the exit of the elbow. That's how much these guys are pushing. They've been used as feelers and they've been folded back and felt. Checkered flags now out. This is it. If you're on a lap, you get to finish the lap. If you're not on a lap, that's as high as you're starting, bar the top 15. Who's going to be able to find time? Down needs to find time. But have a look at Rattray White and behind him. Rattray White's closing. This is not a great lap from Madison.
No, I was just looking at his first Sector 1 split wasn't anything to be sort of too excited about. And yeah, he's now going to get pressure from behind now. So this is heart and mouth stuff. I don't know that Madison's going to have enough to get inside the top 15, but time will tell.
Target lap time, 2:06.561 to beat Bremerton Hobson and knock him out. Who's going to put the time together? Run down to the chase. Rattray White doesn't need the lap. Madison down does. And look at the drive that Eclipse Sim Sports car has got off of the chase. One more corner. One more opportunity for Madison down. Can he crawl his way into the shootout to the last time of asking? Final corner, Murray's to the start-finish line. Rattray White bails out. 2:06.531. He gets in by 300ths of a second. 300ths of a second on the last lap. He will be our first shootout driver out. Brenton Hobson in the final dying stage of the sessions misses out. 6:13. Ian Ford doesn't need to improve by much, but it looks like he's tapped the wall and he's done. Ruben Goodall's in. He won't improve on this final lap. By the way, track temps just died at the back end of that session. It's all of a sudden shot down. That final lap would have been the best one. And there's a kamikaze in the pit lane.
Fuel Cell's just gone and done a 5.7 while we've been concentrating on everyone else. So he's out there just absolutely enjoying himself. Madison down, scraping in with the checkered flag. Now he's praying that he can hold on and no one pips him.
Ian Ford, Marcelo Rivera are both having a crack at this point in time, but I don't think Rivera is actually on a lap. I was just having a quick look. He is closing on Ian Ford. He is actually on a lap. He's going to have a crack, but it's not been... No, he's in the pit lane. That's it. Session's done.
Wow.
Session is done. Your 15 are Jared Philsell, Zach Rattray White. Hang on, we're going to replay that. Have a look out from Jamie Stovall before we get there.
Whoa. gone around. Oh, I got absolutely drilled. Oh, that's always tough. There was nothing he could do. He did the best he could without sort of nailing the outside wall. Tucked it to the inside, but unfortunately got clipped and was just absolutely blindside. But what a qualifying session. And how amazing is our top 15 going to be?
Jared Filsell gets it done by 1.5 tenths of a second. Ratro White was probably on for a PB on that session, but Madison Down was just ahead of him. He couldn't improve. So it's going to be Lobs, Eclipse, Lobs, Chiefs. James Scott gets to fourth in session. He's starting to find a resurgence of form at the back end of the season. He'll have Sam Blacklock along as his co-driver as well, who won last night. Griffin Gardner into fifth spot. Josh Anderson, Damon Woods, Brady Myers, Dylan Rudd, Jake Maloney, the top 10. All drivers that we expect should be there. Outside of the 10 though, Matthew Bowler will scrape in. Looks like Ryan O'Sullivan was the last driver to have a crack on board car 7. That speaks well about their combined pace across the session. Adam Briggs will be absolutely wrapped with his pace. Bo Albert sneaks inside, but the critical story at the back end of the session, and top 15 covered by 7.5 tenths of a second, was Madison Down, put a lap together when it counted and the checkered flag was waving.
Unbelievable. I'm still shocked at what we saw. I didn't think he had enough to make the top 15, but he slipped into the barest of margins, and now he gets the mountain to himself for one lap. And, mate, if he puts together in the shootout, imagine scraping in for top 15 and then maybe start the front row. Who knows?
Well, the thing is, when you're in 15th spot, you can't go backwards. You can only go forwards from there.
That's exactly
all the pressure's off. So that'll be the story out of that one. All right, a little bit further back, Synergy Sim Racing, Brenton Hobson and Tom Freer on 88. 17th spot was Evolution Racing Team, ERT, that's Ian Ford. 222's Jacob O'Reilly, Synergy Sim Racing, Dylan Pereira's 19th. 20th spot was the 143. That car we saw have contact with Jamie Stovall on board the 7. This is outside the 20. Andre Heimgartner for 027. Andre Youssef, Ruben Goodall combining with Hayden Veld is actually the co-driver at the qualifying time there. Brian Borg, Marcelo Rivera, Teo Serrano, Jack Wittis, Wayne Burke, Kurt Stenberg, Tyson Broad, your 30. Outside of the 30, there's a couple more cars to come. Synergy Sim Racing 07 for Jamie Stovall. Brady Baldwin's not at home and unable to qualify that car. I believe he's actually working on Speedway cars at the moment. Ben Faulkner had a trying session and we saw a lot of the tribulations he was under. Glenn Postlethwaite, Damon Mulqueen, and Scott Mackay to come from 35th spot tomorrow with Lobs number 55. I believe it was 468 and car 19, all to come from the rear of the field behind these guys. So they'll be 36 through 38 for those cars. That is qualifying session. The bulk of the grid has been set for the Bathurst 1000 tomorrow. We have a shootout coming your way, but before we get there, we've got Porsche Cups to come in terms of support category racing. First and foremost, any big notables that you witnessed through that list? I reckon everyone's actually about on where their pace is. So I reckon that session is actually quite representative of everyone there, Sam, man.
Yeah, you're probably on the mark there. You know, everyone's obviously done enough lead up to this event to know roughly where they're at. So I don't think in that half-hour session there would have people saying, well, you know, I only just scraped in, but my time was probably, 8 tenths quicker than I should have been. So I reckon everyone's on the money. I think it's just a little bit of a shock that no one expected the TTR car of Madison Down to be just barely scraping it in the top 15. But look, at the end of the day, like we said, as glorious it is to take part in our top 15 shootout, it's the Bathurst 1000. Anyone can win it. Doesn't matter where you are on the grid, but it just makes your day just that little bit easier when you start towards the front.
That it does. Ladies and gentlemen, qualifying for the Bathurst 1000 is now complete. There is one more session to come to set a remainder of our field for the 1000. And then it's on to the big one. Tomorrow, we get into all 1,000 kilometers, along with a little bit of preamble to come. Before we get there, though, we have to get through a little bit of support category action. There is some more of that to come on the other side of this. We are going to be handing on over to Hamish Munro, and Brenton O'Brien will be giving the call for that one, and then we'll be back for the shootout. Ladies and gents, sit tight. This has been the Logitech G Pro Invitational, and we will be back with the shootout and more to come just in a few minutes.
Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
We are gaming fanatics. Our goal has never been to just play games. We think it's much better to feel like you're actually in the game. This feeling is what drives us as we create world-class gaming chairs. Our one aim, give you a brand new gaming experience. Help you move in perfect sync with everything on screen. Make sure you're having a ton of fun. It took us decades to achieve this, and we're still not satisfied. Every day, we wake up to get better. We'll never stop designing the very best to help you be your best. When it's all said and done, our job's only done if you're in full flow and focused on your victory. May you win, and win big.
It is feature time in Tulsa. Let's go green.
He's got the run, but is it enough? It's a drag race to the finish. Culver goes from third to first in the last quarter.
Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races such as the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, and the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR calendar, such as the Daytona 500 and the Coke 600. We have races from disciplines across the racing world, from the Indy 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature. where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events use iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against everyone taking part. As every race progresses, watch and feel the track change, with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline, or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iracing.com/special-events.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back as we are in for tonight's support category event out here at Mount Panorama. The VRS Porsche Cup Series joins the Pro Series weekend as 34 cars are about to go running around this Mount Panorama circuit. Porsche Cup racing, of course, infamous with Australian Motorsport, infamous around Supercars weekends as well. We get to bring it here now to the Pro Series weekend. Hamish Brunner here with you alongside Brenton O'Brien. As always, we're simulcasting, of course, across both the SimSpeed TV channel and the Affinity Broadcasting channel as well. It is a great pleasure to be here. Brenton, we're in for our penultimate round. Final round's coming up on Monday. There's wild cards, X Factors in the field tonight. It could play a part in the championship decider as Sam York comes in tonight leading the title race ahead of Ben Pedersen. If one of them has a poor run, it could really set the other up for a great opportunity out at Belle Isle on Monday.
Thanks so much, Hamish, and welcome to it. And I've been really excited, really looking forward to this round for a long while. And for those out there that don't know, these guys normally race on a Monday night, and it's been a really tight series, as was just explained. Sam Muir's leading the championship, but they raced last Monday night. They're racing tonight. They've got 2 races tonight, and then the final is on Monday night coming. So it's been a really hectic week. We've had some wildcard entries in for this fantastic weekend so far. It's been an amazing week, Bathurst week, and really looking forward to what the wild cards can offer in difference to those who are here every week.
It's coming into tonight's round. Our main contenders for each title race, Gold Class, Sam Muir, Ben Pedersen, they're the main contenders for the Gold Class. They both lead, or they're both at the top 2 of the championship at the moment. The thing that has really hurt Ben Pedersen this season is his penalty points. That's what's really dropped him below the marker against Sam Muir. In terms of our Silver Championship, Ellie Garden has been on an absolute roll the last few weeks. She is leading Rodney Golan by 100 points at the moment, coming into the second to last round. And for the Bronze Championship, Kurt Chapman is leading by over 150 points to Paul Wilson in that current title race as well. Everyone is out here tonight though. We've got Pro Series drivers wildcarding in. We've got drivers outside of the Pro Series and outside of the IWC coming in as well, plus our regular season drivers too. It is going to be a mega night of racing as qualifying is just underway. And one thing I've got to say is, I mean, the racing all season long has been epic, Brenton. The team play of Riot Sim Racing Monday night out at Imola was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And coming into tonight, it's probably going to take a similar level of team play mixed in with the X factor of the wild cards that could put some massive pressure onto Sam Muir as the championship leader.
So one of the commentators, I'm not going to say my name, put the Riot team under the microscope because I don't think they've worked that well as a team together this season. However, as you said, last Monday night, it was completely legal. There was nothing wrong with what they did. It was good, hard, fast racing because Ben Pedersen is second in the championship. He needs help to get up there to chase down Sam Muir. Sam Muir's done a fantastic job all season. He's more like the Elaine Prost type of thing. He's a professor. He can be quick when he needs to be quick, but he's so analytical the way he does his laps. He just counts it down, and he will just wear you down with just good pressure. He's pretty smart. He's the one to watch out for tonight. And I'm really glad that we've got Zach Ratway-Wright, who's just stepped straight out of a GT3 last night, straight out of a supercar so far tonight. He's got a top 15 shootout coming, and he's in the Porsche tonight. Is there a more versatile driver on the grid than Zach Ratway-Wright? I would think not.
I think not. I mean, he's a driver across his, of course, sim racing career. He's been put under a lot of pressure by different drivers across different teams. Of course, he's now at Eclipse Sim Sports after previously being in other outfits over the time as well, including Vermilion, where he's previously driven too. So he's a driver that's incredibly versatile, a driver that any team would be lucky to have, and coming in as a wild card tonight is going to shake it up immensely. We know how intelligent Sam Muir is though racing, and he knows Zach's fast. I don't see a world necessarily, Brenton, where if Sam doesn't feel an opportunity to get past Zach, he will be more than happy to sit right behind him in P2 as long as he's beating Ben Pedersen on the road.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, we've got some really good wildcard entries. None of them are going to win the championship. Let them have their glory and have their win tonight if they want to, if they've got the ability. But this is a battle overall between Sam Muir and Ben Pedersen, and it already shows here in qualifying at the moment. Zach Ratway-Wright is on provisional pole at the moment, but right now in second and third place we've got Sam Muir and Ben Pedersen in front of another wild card entry from Drop Bears, Connor Nixon. But between Muir and Pedersen there's 9/100ths of a second, and this is where we've found so far for the season that Pedersen is very quick over one lap. There's no doubt. Well, he's quick over multiple laps, but Sam, as I was saying before, will wear him down. He will just sit behind him, save a bit of fuel normally for the stop where we have pit stops. Not sure he's going to need to do that tonight. Tonight's just an all-out shootout where he needs to make sure that he maximises his opportunity to win the championship on Monday night.
Yeah, I think it's going to be keep it clean, keep it mean tonight, worry about what's going to come at Belle Isle, of course. With Belle Isle being an undroppable round on Monday, he knows there's a little bit of leeway tonight for points to be lost. The focus should still be on the streets of Detroit. It should still be focused on keep a solid lead in your back pocket going into Detroit on Monday, because it can easily drop points tonight and then drop back a couple. He's got a massive lead in the championship right now over Ben Pedersen. He wants to try and keep that as best he can, knowing that there's 300 points on the line tonight across both races. There's 300 points on the line on Monday night across both their races as well. There's 600 points that could easily be dropped by one unfortunate mistake very early on. And Sam doesn't want to do that because it will swing the championship the complete other way. I think importantly tonight too, obviously, the rise that we've seen over the last few weeks of Angus Lawford, that needs to be shouted out. Had a great run last night in our Rodnok Cup Series. Guaranteed himself a spot in the final round of the playoffs as well. So he's on fire at the moment, firing on all cylinders too. We know that Connor Nixon's fast. He's previously raced in this series back in Season 2. Pat Klein's done a couple of races with us before as well. There's still some X factors out there, though. I mean, the inclusion of more 9.5 cars on the grid tonight, Brenton, is going to be a big factor for Sam, because we've got Pat Klein, we've got Brody Sentence, and those guys are matching Sam on pace. They're not quite at his maximum pace, but I think if they can be around him during both race 1 and race 2, they could be very healthy helping hands for the championship leader and the defending champion.
Yeah, absolutely they could. We've got 4 minutes 20 seconds to go. And you know what, this is such a great opportunity for these guys as well. Like, you know, as popular as Monday night is, and we get good viewership as well, but you know, to have these guys in with the wild cards, it's such a great opportunity to see where they're at with those who don't normally come and drive the series, and they are standing up tall here. They really are. They're doing a great job tonight, down to the last 4 minutes. So these guys stay out. Unlike the supercars where they'll do one slow lap, one hot lap box, these guys will just stay out pretty much endlessly, get the tyre warm temperature up, and then start punching out their laps. So track temp at the moment is 25.6. It's mostly cloudy and 19.7. We just saw in the supercar qualifying that when there's a bit of cloud cover, as we all know, the track temperature drops that little bit. It looks like there's a bit of cloud cover coming over at the moment, so don't be surprised if some of these lap times fall.
They could very well fall, including some faster drivers' lap times getting a bit faster as well. William Sapsted's now gone up to P2 with a 2:05.47. So if Muir wants to start on the front row of the grid tonight, he's got to find around about 0.2 of a second to get over Sapsted. Mueller of the Pacific Esports Racing Crews just separated the championship contenders. They're going between Muir and Pedersen now into P4, so the lap times are getting faster and faster. The pressure is rising as well for these drivers. Lawford will be hoping to try and perform tonight and impress once again. The season in terms of a championship challenge for him is a write-off at the moment, but to prove himself is going to be a massive thing for the former Sandown 500 winner alongside James Scott. And we know that James is quick. He's, of course, well known in the Pro Series, Brenton. And Angus is a driver who's on the rise. He's getting a lot faster. And if he can continue to find pace in this car, I have no doubts that he will be a championship challenger next season.
Yeah, totally agree. Did a really good job last week, but was really competitive throughout. Did a lovely pirouette 360 early on the race, and then still made ground to put some pressure on later on. So he's done a fantastic job of late, and I reckon he'd be pretty happy with P6 at the moment. He's not that far off of third place, less than 3/10 of a second. But the wild cards are really starting to shine here, aren't they? First, second, 4, 7, 8, and 10. So Sam Muir now goes P2. So that's that cloud cover. That's that cloud cover. And look how close he is to Ratway Wright's time. 3/100ths of a second.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's 3/100ths of a second back to Muir, 3/100ths of a second back to Sapstead. So that's how close it is between the top three. We know that Pedersen can find that sort of lap time, though, out of his right sim racing Porsche as well. So he could very easily pull in a sneaky lap at the end of qualifying. Of course, drivers will get cut off at the end of the 15 minutes, being that we're in for 2 races this evening. So if they're on a lap, they can finish it. If they've just started one, they're going to get cut off before the end of qualifying. So Pedersen's out there looking for an attempt, but he's more than 2 minutes away. He's not going to make it by the end.
He's not making. So Pedersen will be P6. But that's okay. That's okay. We know he can do something from there. And Sam Muir, he's the one that has to look after his championship. He's got some damn good drivers around him. He doesn't need to get involved with anything ugly, and he probably will get this lap finished. Be interesting to see how he goes. Haven't seen Zach Ratway White's time come in and play. I think he's in the box.
He's just done a 5.3. Ratway White has just gone faster, and Sam's pulled out of it. So the Eclipse Sim Sports driver has gone even faster and almost put a stamp on the pole position. Of course, Eclipse are yet to participate in the IRWC, so Zach gets the, I suppose, esteemed honour I could claim as the first Eclipse driver to race in the series, but it's good to have him and all the other wildcards part of the series as well. I mean, we've got wildcards of all different skill levels throughout the field, kind of matching our classes as well, of course, across the gold, silver and bronze classes. Of course, gold class, well, that's our top class of the series. They're the fastest drivers. The silver class drivers, well, they're the ones who could maybe find a little bit more and get themselves into the gold class. Or maybe they're drivers who, if they don't perform, could drop down to the low class. And the bronze drivers, well, they're more or less our drivers who are trying to get better, trying to get faster, but maybe it's just lacking a little something, but they could definitely make an improvement. I think we've already known to this point of the season, Brenton, Kurt Chapman, he's not going to be a bronze driver into season 4. He's going to become a silver class driver no matter what happens. He's proven himself this season that he deserves that spot, and he's proven himself to everyone out there that he deserves to be in that position. Well, qualifying's done and dusted. Drivers have managed to get themselves in for solid lap times across the board. And what we have for ourselves tonight is an incredible opportunity to go racing here at Bathurst. For race 1, Zach Ratway White will start pole position alongside Sam Muir on the front row, ahead of William Sapstead and Angus Lawford on the second row. Ryan Mueller, Ben Pedersen will then make up the top 6 as you look back to Connor Nixon, Stacey Boyd on the 4th row of the grid. Pat Klein, Blake Fitzpatrick will then make up our top 10 as we're just slowly rolling on through towards the back end of the top 10. That's a good effort from Pat. He's previously been in the series before, and he's doing well to get himself into that position. Rodney Goll and Matt Stewart will then make up the 6th row of the grid ahead of Brody Sentence and Harry Dodds for the top 14. Brady Stanley, Jared McLeod in behind them for the top 16 cars. Craig Schultz out of P17 tonight as well. He's had some good performances previously, but he's kind of been on the back foot as of late. Mitchell Curry, one of our wild cards, will start at a P18 in behind. Logan Howard, Matt Howard, the Howard brothers will start alongside each other for the 10th row of the grid ahead of Silver Championship leader Ellie Gardner and Bronze Championship leader Kurt Chapman on the 11th row of the grid. They'll start ahead of John Akers and Jacob Hughes, an all-right sim racing entry on the 12th row of the grid in behind them. Curtis Bird, Wiley Blair will then start ahead of Jamie Fleming and Damien Cairns, with Gary Watson and Jack Anderson making up the top 30 on the grid here this evening. Further back, we've got Barry Punter and Byron Phillips making his race debut in the series. Was classified as a gold driver when he signed up at the start of the season. This is his first race tonight. So he's missed 9 rounds after signing up, and now he's in for his very first running. So It's great to have Byron out there with us, though, on this weekend. Of course, our race controllers, Greg Favell will be our chief race steward. Leith McClement will be the offsider, and our safety car driver, Lucas Burt, will be hopefully not having to head out there anytime soon. But from the last time we were here, Brenton, we know Bathurst can be chaos. We know we know that the mid-sector of the circuit at the top of the hill can be absolute chaos. We could be in for at least a safety car race here tonight. It's just going to depend how tidy they can be off the race start. And I think if they can make it past the first 5 laps without anything major happening, they could make it to the end of the 25-minute first race without a safety car.
Well, so last time we were at Bathurst, it was pretty much the same format, and we had Matty Bowler, the ERT driver, start from last on the grid because he won the previous race and worked his way through. So we can absolutely, we've got evidence that someone like Byron Phillips is going to have a lot of fun this race. We've got Eclipse bookending this field first and last, and let's watch what Byron can do, because he is sensationally quick. Just got to keep it clean and he will work his way up there. But we're talking about 125 seconds of race of a lap, 125 seconds, where there's 0.03 of a second between them. That's amazingly close, and we're really looking forward to this. We've got our last 10 seconds before we start, so hopefully everyone's got their engines on. This is going to be a cracker. I hope you can all stay and watch it.
This is going to be an absolute rip snorter of a race tonight, and it's such a proud moment for us to be a part of this weekend, of course, as the iRacing World Challenge in the Porsche Cup Series as well. Lights are going up, though, for these drivers. Rattray White and Muir, front row start ahead of Sapstead and Lawford. Mueller and Pedersen, what could happen across the 25-minute first race of Mount Panorama for Porsche Cup Series action as we head up towards turn 1 for the first time. Early scramble of positions. It's a poor start from Pedersen in comparison to Mueller. He's managed just to sneak ahead of him round turn 1, and the drivers are already trying to go side by side up Mountain Straight towards turn 2 for the first time. On board with Nixon now. In behind Pedersen, putting massive pressure on him up towards Griffin's Bend. He's backed out of it as Pedersen and Mueller go in. Smart move there from Nixon. Early part of the race, doesn't need to go for the dive just yet, but he is willing to put the pressure on when it matters as we run it up towards the cutting for the first time. And we ride with Pat Klein.
Yeah, so there's been a big accident at the back, yeah, turn 2. The track's actually blocked a little bit. We're going to have a look at the replay of that. Still blocked, it will be open shortly. Oh, the 86 has got a problem. Wiley Blair's got a big problem there. That's not going to be tracking at all well. We're keeping an eye on him to see if he can get that back. Could be a possible safety car. So you're Ben Pedersen right now. You need to win the championship. That championship starts tonight. So if anyone's going to be driving aggressively tonight, you're going to have to watch out for Pedersen, because he needs to get space between him and Muir.
But remembering as well, these cars can make roughly 24 minutes on a tank of fuel, Britain. So it's going to be a tight fuel game tonight. Wiley Blair has pulled up at turn 4, and we could get a safety car here in just a moment's notice. Here comes the replay of the incident up at turn 2. So it was Anderson on the inside, Blair on the outside. And as he's come through, he's lost the rears right in front of his teammate, Jacob Hughes. And it's all hell that's broken loose back there. Every car trying to take evasive action.
Yeah.
And yeah, safety car's coming out. So our first appearance of our VRS safety car out on track tonight. So that should mean that they make it home on fuel, I would say, Brenton, now that we've had this safety car, because that was the real big difference. You can save a lap under the safety car, of course. So being that they were about a minute away from making it home, this safety car will guarantee a no pit stop event.
I was going to say, yeah, so it's not just the fact that they'll be doing a lap or 2 behind the safety car, but it's also the time that it takes to be behind the safety car. So safety car's just picked up the field in the exit of 1. Yeah, haven't seen the safety car for a while. Haven't seen it for a while, the BMW. So
I'm trying to think the last time we had it.
Yeah, the VRS coaching safety car.
Yeah.
Good to see it out. Yeah, so this will change things a lot, because some would have already been thinking about fuel strategy early. Well, you can blow that out the window now. These guys will all make it on fuel. There's no worries about that at all. And it's how they control the restart. So what have we got so far in regards to those who have gained and lost? I think it's been fairly standard, to be honest with you. I think Connor Nixon's dropped a couple. So, yeah, and it's, another driver, actually, I haven't mentioned so far, and it's so good to see him, Matty Stewart. I just saw that Matt Stewart had entered. He's a vets driver on Thursday night, Stormy, and he's done a fantastic job up P12.
Yeah, he's done well. He's still restarted this race, of course, back in P12, so he's doing a fantastic effort for himself out there. Just trying to run around at the moment for...
It's just such a good category, the Porsches, and
it's so fun.
It's timeless. It always works. You know what I mean? The one make, and I know, and a good job by race control. I love what race control have done. One lap of safety car. Well done, Greg Pavel, and in race control. Excellent.
Because there's no waiver rounds that were needed. Everyone's back up and together again. Gave him opportunity to get in pit lane. You know, it's great to see. And one thing I will say is, obviously, if everyone is enjoying the racing out there, and you love a bit of Porsche Cup racing, you're wanting to find a league to race in, our sign-ups are open for Season 4. Our sign-ups are open over in the IWC Discord. You can become a part of this for a regular season race. It's not just a support category race tonight, Brenton. We run a regular season. This is a 100%. Championship round for us.
Absolutely. And it's a quality series with some quality racing and some different tracks as well. And they need, the series needs some more drivers to be involved. Like, there's generally always about 30 drivers, but if you can get a few more and get that 40 on the grid, that would be fantastic. And there's some good guys here. And there's without saying a hell of a lot, there's some real good reasons why to be involved with this type of series for Porsche next year.
Yep, for sure. And, you know, we've got a hell of a calendar for next season. Adelaide is becoming our finale for the championship, so Monday will be the last time that Belle Isle is our finale for the series. We're starting up on the 8th of December, so it's a quick turnaround for us, but the entries are open, so you guys can get involved if you want to. Of course, if the wildcards are racing and you're watching this back and you're enjoying your race tonight, more than welcome to sign up for next season and come and get involved with us in what is going to be a phenomenal championship run for next season. But we've still got one round to go after tonight. We've still got this race and the next run tonight. Our championship's not yet decided. Sam Muir, well, he sits in a championship winning position at the moment. He sits in a position where he is not necessarily on the back foot, he's on the front foot. He's able to control the championship in what he and how he wants to shape it. For Ben Pedersen, he needs to try and find something tonight and on Monday. If he wants to win the title, it's probably going to take a little bit of potluck for him to even win the title at this point, because of the fact that Sam has got such a significant lead in the championship. So, you know, it's been a tough challenge all season for Ben. He's taken a lot of learning from this season as well. This is going to be a hot restart, though, as we come round for the next lap of this race, because safety car's about to come in, and it is a battle of the Titans at the front of the field. Just to quickly call out some I-ratings here, of course. Rattray White, 7.5K. Sam Muir, 6.5K. Sapstead, 6.1K. Muir, 4.3. Pedersen, 6.1. Nixon's 4.6. It's ridiculous, the skill level that we've got at the front of the field. But as we run around Hell Corner once again, Zach Rattray White gets us back underway. 18.5 minutes to go for race one. Who can take home the chocolates in the very first race here this evening? As we run it up Mountain Straight once again. Can we make it past Griffin's Bend before we get another incident? They've all separated nicely, though, Britain, off this restart. There's been a little breath taken. Smart little brain switch from some drivers further back as well. I think we may possibly be able to get past turn 2 and turn 3 now off the restart after what happened.
You've blown it, so there's not much chance that's going to happen now. You should know better than that, Hamish. We've been through this before, and there it is. There it is on the exit of 2. We've lost the car. I think that's Stacey Boyd. Exactly the same. Did up the rears on exit, and this could be another safety car. Where is he going to move?
He's okay. His car's still moving. I think he
there's another one at Griffin. There's one at Griffin's as well.
Ryan Mueller. Yeah, so cold tyres are definitely becoming a factor now. And that is becoming a major talking point at this point of the race as well. There's a little gap starting to build, though, between Blake Fitzpatrick and the top 6 on the road at the moment. So he's given up a little bit of time to Connor Nixon, and he's under pressure right now from Rodney Golan as they head down through Skyline. So for Golan, he's got points to gain tonight, and he is surrounded by wild cards at the moment. He's got 2 either side of him, with Harry Dodds in the next car in the championship behind, back 2 places.
So that gap between Nixon and Fitzpatrick, that was originally filled by Stacey Boyd. So there's a reason that 3 seconds is opened up. It's 3.5 seconds is opened up. But that will close. I'm confident that will close, because Fitzpatrick's done, from what I've seen from Fitzpatrick on sim, he's a very, very capable driver. We've got to move here William Sapsmed on Sam Muir.
We do indeed, as he looks to
So
go
that's
for
for
it.
P2. Now, Muir did the... See, this is what I was saying before. Muir is very smart. He doesn't need to get involved with this race. He can just sit back. So long as he's in front of the car 669, his championship is looking healthier. But these guys are all drivers. You put your helmet on, half the brain comes out. They've got the competitive streak. They want to get involved. And have a look at this for a battle.
I know, everyone is getting involved with it at the moment. Oh, as they continue to battle away here tonight. And it is...
Teammates.
Yeah.
One of their Murrays. It looked like some teammate connection there.
Well, it's getting a bit hot. Was it? It wasn't the Howard brothers, was it? Together, no.
Please no.
As Jack Anderson is just getting a bit loose further back in the field off the exit of turn 1. So you'll see though the race is well under control here from Rattray White. Bit of battling happening back here between Matt Howard and Pat Klein as they head up through Griffin's Bend once again. You see him behind them. Here comes Byron Phillips, contact with Pat Klein. He somehow held it. Ellie Gardner wants to follow through at the cutting as well. So Gardner's got the real ticket here to move forward. She's got Byron Phillips pulling her along the way. And that is helping Ellie out immensely at the moment. Up to P17 already, up 4 places.
But Gardner's one of our regulars, always, and has had previous 2 podiums previously, so certainly knows how to steer this car around. There's some absolute Bathurst specialists here. There is absolute Bathurst specialists, and I'm going to call car 52 Angus Lawford one of them, because Lawford is up P4 and is doing an amazing job. An amazing job. And Pedersen's got a black flag.
Yes, indeed. This is what happened with Stacey Boyd. Lost it on the curvature off the exit of turn 2, and then this is why Ben Pedersen's got a black flag. Rear end contact to Maya Mueller, and then the other right car, I believe, was Rodney Golan, who had nowhere to go in that instance, made contact then. The pirouette car of...
I'm looking at that again. So he's got the black flag. Obviously not happy. This is championship implications right here.
Big championship implications, so...
Yeah.
Just went the wrong way. He thought Ryan was rolling forward, so he made the shot as Matt Howard's gone off down at the chase as well. So Matt Howard, we just saw him on the corner of screen, made a little traversage onto the grass in the game of fuel entry, as Ben Pedersen is now coming in for that black flag. So it's only going to hurt his championship hopes even more now after that incident with Mueller.
That's season done. That's season done for him, unfortunately. If there's no safety cars and Mueller just kick... another incident here.
That's Jared McLeod around further back.
Sure, he's done that by himself. But yeah, that's fatal for Pedersen, unfortunately.
Well, Pedersen had to take evasive action on the exit of pit lane as McLeod had crossed the circuit to get rejoined again. So it's not ending well for Ben Pedersen right now.
No, it's
really not ending well. Matt Howard, Gary Watson. Here comes Pedersen. Oh, he's giving him a massive bump in the rear end.
Yeah, we don't like that. We don't like that. There's a lot of impatience. There's a lot of anger in that helmet at the moment. Ben just going to settle down a little bit.
And you know, Gary's doing his best here just to try and hold on. I mean, he's one of our regular competitors. He is a bronze class driver as well, but he's in for his own race every single week that he's out there. This was the moment with Jared McLeod. Looks to be a self-made moment there. A bit of a spin through turn 1, so probably just slid it up on the rears on Apex and round she went. And then this was Ben Pedersen's exit of pit lane, and we can't really put anything on Ben here because he's not expecting there to be a car right in his way as he comes out of pit road. So
no, that's not on Ben whatsoever. No. And got around it quite well. There's no dramas there, but yeah, he won't be happy at all. So yeah, like I said, its championship implications are severe. He's just got to keep circling around. But Sam Muir, he'll be too smart to make a mistake. He doesn't need to get racing. He will already know what's happened to Ben. You can hear the reaction from Ben. He'll already know what's going on.
Well, for Sam, I mean, yes, he's in P3. Yes, he's got Sapstead and Rattray White ahead of him. He's not losing any points right now to a championship driver. He will be happy to sit there. Hell, he may even be happy to let Lawford past him if he gets up onto the back of him at some point, because he knows that Pedersen is down the order at the moment, and he's just made another mistake down the straight. It's a big moment for Ben Pedersen. This was the onboard up at turn 3-4 for the cutting. So try to turn it. Oh, it was very light contact. Very light, but wasn't far enough up.
fair bit of chat on the comms with Pedersen. I can't actually hear what he's saying. It's a bit muffled, but all I know is he's not happy. He's not having the race he wants. He's put a little bit of, this is Mueller again, is it? That's the same.
No, that there was that was Pedersen's car on Conrod Straight. He had a moment down there. Yeah, this was it. So he was battling with Watson and McLeod. I mean, Watson's doing everything he's supposed to do. He's holding his line well. And Pedersen's trying to push him along. So how has this gone? Oh, he has just massively turned across the road. And that's straight into Mueller. Yeah. That is straight into Ryan Mueller. And race control, I mean, I can't speak for race control, but if they realise that that's Mueller, they may make a claim that that could be some sort of deliberate contact there between Pedersen and Mueller. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a bit fishy that that's happened like that. No.
Didn't look good. Let's not kid ourselves. Did not look good. That's going to have severe implications, and it could be holiday time. I would think you don't need to be doing that. So, no. What would be encouraged?
No.
Yeah.
And that there is probably nail in the coffin in terms of the champion now for Pedersen. That is, it's right now we are likely going to be calling Sam Muir champion-elect after tonight, barring he scores 0 at Belle Isle on Monday. All he'll need to do is score points and he'll be fine. So that's the scenario that's now at hand for Sam Muir, which sits in a very comfortable position in P3 at the moment, just ahead of Angus Lawford. Connor Nixon, Blake Fitzpatrick, those guys doing well. There's a bit of a gap separating them though at this stage of the race. Our next closest battle here is back further with Brady Stanley and Matt Stewart fighting just in the back end of the top 10. We saw Brady take a fantastic win earlier in the season out at Chicago in the feature race of that sprint round, in what was a fantastic performance from him. Got his first victory. He's had a podium since then as well, Brenton. And for Brady, this has been a great building season for him. I think if he can have a similar season in season 4 to what Lawford's had here in season 3, I think he could then make the moves into 2026 as a possible championship contender at some point, as Howard and Schultz side by side into turn 2. I was able to hold him off there. And I must say as well, my heart has to go out to Logan Howard, Brenton. He was in the most Mount Everest of hill climb battles yesterday for the Rodnott Cup playoff position. He had to go up against 3 Project 36 cars to try and get a playoff position, and unfortunately he lost out to all 3 of them, and he just missed out on it. It was honestly heartbreaking yesterday.
But also benefits of being in a team. Get that help.
You would have been proud, Brenton. They played the team game to absolute perfection. As punters gone round back at turn 2. So it's been a hot contested race. And
so for all of our viewers out there in Speed Cafe land as well, and our other YouTube channels, I know it's highlighted that this is the qualifying series, but right now what we're doing is we're running a support categories with the Porsches. It's been fantastic racing so far. We've got a 25-minute race now, which has got 8 minutes left, and we've got another 25-minute race after this. I just saw people asking some questions about it. So yes, these aren't supercars, but these are every bit as exciting. These guys absolutely put the race on.
Well, not just that. I mean, you know, if you're loving this stuff in terms of Porsche Cup racing, you know, we obviously can't really say anything, but keep an eye on 2026. IRWC, our Porsche Cup series, is getting bigger and better. There's little things that could be coming possibly elsewhere, but who knows? But what I do know is the Porsche Cup right now is back on the resurgence, Brenton, and
absolutely it is.
It is. I think a car that deserves its plaudits. It's incredibly fun. There's the updated car coming out next season for the 992.2.0, and that's going to be about a bound of fun for these drivers. You know, with our next season coming up as well, that's going to be a lot of fun in that new car. And it's going to be a good test for them as well. So I think it's, you know, we're continuing to build. We're only in the youth stages of our series, of course. We're only in our 3rd season. But what's happening is we're getting drivers in there. We've still got drivers who've been here since season 1, and they're still signed up for season 4. So they're continuing to race. And if we can find more drivers like that are willing to hang around, continue to race, and continue to be a part of this great community, and that's all we want, because we just want to be able to put on great racing and put on a fantastic series for all to be a part of as well.
So, So yeah, so 669, Pedersen getting another post-race penalty for that contact. So yeah, none of it's gone well, has it? But yeah, so with the new car coming out, and I think it was actually you who was, heard the question the other day, is you can turn the traction control off and the ABS off. So that's something that might be certainly looked into, because these cars are a challenge. They are a challenge, and the racing that it causes is so tight. And you know, there's some genuine skill with what these guys can do, and they're putting in lap times. You know, last lap for William Sapstead, fastest lap for him, actually fastest lap of the race, 205 lap, 205.078. Yeah, that's quick. That is absolutely quick. And going up to the lead, like Ratway White has actually just been very, very comfortable in the lead. But here we are saying,
Sorry, Brady Stanley has just lost it at the chase in a wild moment. Into the sand trap he's gone. He was having a phenomenal race tonight, and now has to pick up the pieces of a crumbling tower around him. Oh, that is heartbreak for Brady. He's been so good.
Yeah. Oh, he's having to box it too. So what's the problem there? Like, can't see any damage on the car. Having a look at the OG gear replay.
He's gone for the move. Oh, he caught the curb.
Did he catch the wall? No, he's caught the wall.
Yeah, so he bounced the curb, and then it's just dropped. So. Oh, that's such a shame for Brady.
It really is.
Such a great race, and I mean, if he'd pulled that move off, we would have been obviously singing his praises, because that was a real big move for him to try and pull a Rodney Golan. But it's unfortunate that it's not worked out for him as we get the externals of it.
I reckon a lot of these guys are having a lot of fun at the moment, because they're racing against guys they don't normally race against. Let's face it, one of the best tracks, if not the best tracks in Australia. It's a fantastic track, if not the world. It's an amazing place. And for those out there who haven't been there, even if you just drive around your own car, highly recommend that you should do it. I was about to say, let's give a shout out to Byron Phillips, but something's happened with Byron as well. He's actually dropping through. He was up as high as P11.
Oh, he's gone off the road.
Yeah, dropping through the road.
Where's he gone off? I think he's just towed. Has he just towed back? No. I'm trying to find him on my end. I think he's actually dropped out.
Was that a disconnect? Yeah, no, he's disconnected. He's got a disconnect.
Yeah.
Bugger. Well, he was going really well. I was looking forward to seeing what he could do in race 2. That's a shame for Byron, like I said.
Well, he may be back for race 2. I mean, he can rejoin the session if he has obviously dropped out due to an internet issue. He can still get back out there and race in race 2. It will be an inverted grid in race 2. I believe it'll be a top 15 invert. So that's going to put a bit of pressure on some drivers. It's going to suit others. Right now, if it is the 15 that we have set to invert, it means that Damien Cairns will be provisional pole for the next race. As through goes Matt Stewart on Rodney Golan through the chase, and now up into P7 on the road. So Matty's done a very good job there just to sneak on by.
Geez, I'd love to see Damien Cairns on the pole position for the next race, because he is someone who's been here every week, every race, doesn't miss out, has been thereabouts, hasn't, like in other reverse grid races, has done a really good job. Probably doesn't spend a lot of time practicing in this car or testing in this car, but he's someone he's prone to make the odd mistake or two early on in the season, but he's certainly progressing well, and he's certainly getting better race by race. It would be fantastic to see him on pole position with some wild cards around him to see what he can actually produce. So I'm looking forward to race 2. We've got 3 minutes to go in this race, probably another lap and a half. And Ratway White has actually shown his absolute masterclass. Like I said, drove extremely well last night, coming P2, remind me, the GT3 race. Did a fantastic job to wrap up P2 in that championship. Well done to him behind teammate. Remind me quickly, Damon Woods.
And Damon Woods.
Damon Woods. Yep. So he did a fantastic job. And as I said, the guy I'm really impressed with tonight, Angus Lawford. He has been fantastic tonight. He's really risen above, and he's done an awesome job. He's just 4 seconds off the lead, but he's taken himself to a new level tonight. Now he needs to find the consistency to do it more often. He's right behind Sam Muir. We saw last week how much he improved. This week he's improved even further. He's taken the next step tonight. Let's see how he goes on Monday night for the grand finale. But, he's done a fantastic job so far.
He's done a phenomenal job thus far throughout this race. So only a few laps to go in this one. Ratcho White's just coming through the chase now. We've got 2 minutes to go. So this is going to be the white flag lap for Ratcho White. And we're only going to go overtime by probably around about, maybe 20 seconds or so. So that's not too bad in terms of an overtime for Bathurst. as he continues on up towards the line. So these guys aren't going to get a regular break though between the races. Normally they get a 5-minute warm-up in between, but they're going to be racing straight away for race 2. They'll grid up for a 2-minute grid timer, so they'll get time to maybe quickly go and relieve themselves, but it'll have to be a very, very quick one if they are going to do that, as we can follow Matt Stewart once again across the line as he starts his final lap of the race. So it's been a hot event thus far, not only through qualifying earlier on for the Bathurst 1000 tomorrow, through the support race right now, shootout to come still directly after this, the 1000, the big race tomorrow. There's multiple drivers wanting to try and claim glory around the mountain. Earlier in the week, of course, yesterday, we had the GT Pro finale, which was taken out by Eclipse Sim Sports. They won the title for that GT Pro series. Earlier in the week, the co-driver clash, which was all sorts of fireworks at the front end of town. And it's going to be a big weekend. It's going to be a big lot of racing to come your way, and more still to come across the weekend. So if you are watching on the SimSpeed TV network, make sure you are subscribed, because there's so much more stuff to come across the end of the weekend, the rest of 2025, and in towards 2026 as well. So you guys are not going to want to miss any of that action. If you're watching over on Infinity Broadcasting as well, we've got more action to come your way too, so be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, the bell icon on that channel as well. We've still got the finale of this series to come on Monday, the finale of the Rod Knock Cups. Later this evening, we've got V8 Vets action as well, so there's so much stuff to come your way in terms of Australian sim racing. It's been a massive week thus far, Breton, but 2026 is going to be such a massive year going forward as well.
Oh, it really is. There's so much about to be on offer, well, already on offer in sim racing, and yeah, we're on the last lap. I'll let you call that in.
So as Zach Rattray-White comes around the final few corners now and down towards victory lane for the first time in the IWC VRS Porsche Cup Series, around the final turn, Rattray-White has survived race 1 to take home the race win ahead of William Sapstead, and Sam Muir will extend his championship lead in the gold class ahead of Angus Lawford. Connor Nixon trying to make it home in P5 at the moment, with Blake Fitzpatrick in behind him and Matt Stewart as well. We ride with some of those 9.5 Sim Sports drivers of Craig Schultz and Pat Klein up towards the start-finish line as well. They're just outside of the top 10. Gardner, Byrne and Cairns in behind them. So if it is the 15 invert, it will be Cairns on the front row, top step, starting P1. If it's the 10 invert, because I didn't set up the session, that's my fault, it'll be Logan Howard on pole position for the next race. But you know, for Vets viewers here on the SimSpeed TV channel, you'll know Damien Cairns from Thursday night, so it'd be nice to see him racing at the front for once.
Yeah, it really will. Good job to all. Championship implications are severe there, obviously. I think, is it got the case now where Sam Muir's just got to finish his next race and that championship is done?
It would be very close, with Ben Pedersen not scoring points in race 1.
Yep.
That's a massive extension. The points gap would now be over 300. So if Pedersen doesn't score anything in the next race, and Sam does, he will wrap up the championship tonight. So that's although in saying that, drop rounds can be a factor, so I'll have to check in how many points Ben could be getting back, but it would definitely be nail in the coffin stuff.
Yeah, and Ben will probably be the first to admit that, once he has a think about how some things have happened this season, it's probably let himself down a little bit. But by saying that, it's high pressure, and at the start of the season, I had Pedersen as the favourite to win. So these things happen. We get on with it, and it's just next race, and after the next race there'll be next race on Monday night, and then after that there'll be next season. So we go around again, and people make mistakes and we move on. That's all you can say. It's so long as we do learn from the mistakes, that's the important thing.
Exactly right. So Zach Rattray-White takes out the race win ahead of William Sapstead and Sam Muir on the podium. Angus Lawford, Connor Nixon the top 5 ahead of Blake Fitzpatrick, Matt Stewart, Rodney Golan, Harry Dodds and Logan Howard made up our top 10. The grid is starting to get gridded up for race 2, and what I am noticing is they're currently situated in continuous grid order, so it might be Rattray-White on pole again here. Okay. Schultz P11 ahead of Pat Klein, Ellie Gardner, Curtis Bird the top 14, Cairns, Curry for the top 16, Howard ahead of Akers, McLeod and Mueller for our top 20 in the end there. And back to Boyd, Stanley, Chapman, Sentence, Fleming, Hughes, Punter, Watson, Anderson, Byron Phillips made up the 30 cars, only 2 laps down there. So he was the first of the lapped cars in the field. So it'll be a continuous grid for race 2. Every driver will be getting set up here. So I was wrong on both ends, Brenton. We haven't actually pulled out the reverse grid. We pulled the continuous grid, but I think that could still offer us up a bit of carnage, a bit of chaos, and could definitely bring us something interesting heading into the second race of the night and the final droppable round of the season.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. So there's a lot to play for here. For those in the minor placements now, like Angus Lawford has done a great job all night, as we said. You know, he's working his way up through the points now. So hopefully we've got a good race to come, and no safety cars will make this extremely interesting.
Yep, that would make it incredibly interesting if we weren't to get safety cars, because it means the fuel game's going to be a fuel save scenario for some drivers as well, as lights are about to go up for them and they get prepped to go racing once again here out at Mount Panorama as we trickle our way up towards the start-finish line. So can Rattray White maximise off the front row once again? Can Sapstead go with him? Muir will be happy to sit where he is, knowing that if he scores points in this race, he can clinch the championship. Ben Pedersen starting from the back of the field. He's going to be aggressive early. So this is going to be massive pressure. It's at a maximum right now for these drivers as they prepare themselves for 25 final minutes around Mount Panorama. Revs up. White flag. Green flag. Green flag as we go racing. I'm 25 minutes ahead of myself apparently, as we are off once again for Porsche Cup racing at Mount Panorama. And the scramble begins up Mountain Straight for the first time in race 2. It's a hot start from Sapstead, who's right on the heels of Rattray White, with Muir and Lawford in behind in what has been a fantastic first race earlier on. Race 2 is going to bring us all the action once again as we run up towards the cutting. Can we survive Griffin's Bend? No, we can't.
Turn 2.
Big incident back there. Ryan Mueller has been involved. We'll check it out shortly. Brady Stanley as well. John Akers. No safety car just yet. They're all still rolling, but turn 2 again. Cold tyres. It's still claiming victims.
Yeah, it really is. So they'll be looking at that race control. My man John Akers has been involved. Unfortunately, that's the type of thing that will really hurt his championship in silver class. So he's done really well this season, but that's really going to hurt him. That's going to put a lot of pressure on what he needs to do Monday night.
It will put so much pressure on him right now in terms of pressure for some drivers. Of course, Kurt Chapman, well, he scored good points in race 1, so he kind of elevated himself heading into the final round of the season. Ellie Gardner, she got solid points too. Only gave up points to Rodney Golan, so that championship's now tightened up just a little bit once again. That there is very likely, Brenton, where we've seen close racing all season. That silver class is going to be absolute fireworks in terms of a championship battle, as Jacob Hughes and Ben Pedersen have had an incident down at Forest Elbow. Teammates of Riot Sim Racing. I don't know if they've made contact down there, but it is really, really hurting Ben, as Sapstead's now taken the lead through the chase and has now got Rattray White on his heels once again. Muir wants to get involved. Rattray White darts the nose across, doesn't want to dive bomb it yet down at Murray's corner.
Doesn't need to.
Doesn't need to. Nope.
And so let's look at this. So don't forget, if there's no safety cars, these will struggle to make it. Looks like Brady Stanley's got himself a black flag, unfortunately, from the first lap incident. These guys will struggle to make it on the 25 minutes. So right now, who would want to be in the lead? You know, you've got a chance to save fuel. And we talked about Sam Muir before, very, very good at saving fuel, sitting there in P3. Watching these other two go hard at it, he doesn't need to join that.
He doesn't just yet, as Rattray White just looking for the outside. Couldn't quite get the run on Sapstead as they run up towards the cutting once again. And we can see the sort of pressure from the train in behind them. I mean, the caliber of names that are in this battle. Sapstead, Rattray White, Muir, Lawford, Nixon, as well as Fitzpatrick and Stewart in behind too. So they're all battling away for not any minor positions. They're battling away for majors because they want to try and take home the cup for tonight here at Bathurst. And for Rattray White, I mean, if he could obviously win both races, that would be a hell of a moment for him. As we're just looking out at Forest Elbow, I'm going to assume this is the incident that we saw earlier on lap 1. So how has this occurred down there? So leaders have come through. It would be a really, really bad, unfortunate look for Ben. It's a great camera shot.
Got the drone up there.
Here we go. Oh, so Pedersen, so Pedersen was on the inside, locked it up, and then has actually clipped Jacob, his teammate, and put him in the wall. I wonder actually if he clipped the wall back where Mostert hit the wall in qualifying about 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Oh, yeah, it's roughly 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I think it was. I think it was. It was 2015 or 2016, wasn't it, that he hit the wall and
do not know. I'm sure someone out there in YouTube land would know exactly what year it was. Some would know exactly what day and time it was too. So, yeah. But meanwhile, up the front, Will was actually being Sapsted's held on very well here. And Rattray has. Oh, there's a bump here.
Yeah,
this is ugly. That
was lap 1, turn 2. Yeah,
that's the penalty. Yeah, so the OG gear replay shows why Stanley got that drive through. And yeah, that's absolutely justified there. Not the greatest move.
No, it wasn't. Sapsted has set the fast lap of the race to 206.29 as around goes Rodney Gollan. So all of a sudden, the momentum had swung one way for race 1. It's now swinging the other way for Ellie Gardner in that Silver Championship, Brenton. So it's amazing how it can go back and forth across 2 races with only 1 round to go in the championship. That's big pressure for Rodney.
I was about to say that these, so from what we're seeing tonight to what we see on a normal Monday night, I've got to admit, some of these guys look like they're actually not handling the pressure too well. Like they're driving above their means, above their possible abilities. And they are getting involved in some pretty lazy incidents here. Not all of their own doing, has to be said, but in this case here, it looks like he's going to be on the curb, on the power, and away he goes. That is not a Rodney Gollan mistake that you would normally see. That's the pressure of the night. That's the pressure of Gardner not being that far behind. That's the pressure of a big TV audience, especially on our Speed Cafe feeds. Yeah, that's not how these guys are going to be driving. I reckon they're feeling the pressure.
I think they are too. I mean, it can kind of harken back to the, a moment can make the man, but a man can also make the moment as well. It's for Rodney right then and there, the moment kind of overtook him for this race tonight. So, but he'll be able to come back. He's still within reach of the championship going into Belle Isle on Monday, so he can definitely still be a part of it. As Rattray White putting all sorts of pressure on Sapsted ahead, Muir in behind as well. So as they run it through the chase once again, he's just biding his time, waiting for an opportunity to strike at the race lead. If they were to finish where they are, they will finish equal P1 on the road for tonight's event.
But you would give P1, you'd give P1 to Sapsted though, because he wins the second race.
That's
so
right.
That's how we would break up that tie.
Yes, we would indeed. So Angus Lawford though, fastest lap of the race, 205.762. So Lawford's turned the Jets on. He is becoming somewhat of, I don't know, just a little gem that we've got in the crown here. Porsche Cup racing. He is going to be a championship challenger at some point. I am almost guaranteeing you, because he's getting faster and faster. He's getting more and more confident. And the team around him are getting him around him too. I mean, Dodsey, likes of David Lawler and Brendan Griffiths, who runs the team over there at Project 36, they're all getting around him. They're all helping support him in these championship charges.
Yeah, absolutely. So the race has actually settled down a little bit, which is good to see. So still 7.5 minutes to go. At some stage, they're going to have to look at their fuel numbers a bit more tight and see whether they can make it, whether that last lap's going to be imperative to save fuel, or whether they can go hard at it.
Well, they look like they're pushing hard. Doesn't look like any fuel saving is currently on board for these cars. Now, arguably, race 1, we can maybe argue we lost maybe 2 laps, Breton, thanks to the safety car, so we probably would have gone 13 instead of 11. So that will be an interesting scenario in how far these cars can make it. We know on average it's roughly about 24 to 25 minutes on the fuel, but if they go a lap longer, well, that is getting into proper fuel save territory and possible cars running out of fuel as well on the very last lap of the race. So that will be a big factor heading into this one. We've got 17 minutes to go though in race 2. Bit of a blink there from Fitzpatrick in behind. Won't want to have that hurt him too much, as Nixon wants to dive into the chase on Angus Lawford. He couldn't quite get there in time. And hats off to Lawford. He is not cracking under the pressure right now of the Orbit Drop Air car behind him. And Nixon, who we know is as intense as they get, is as quick as they get. Controversial on track sometimes, hell of a guy off track, but he is going to fight for this as much as he can.
So I'm thinking here already, and this is what Drop Bear do very well. I'm thinking that Connor was saving fuel in the first half of this race, make sure he's got his number, and now he's ready to go. Now he's ready to go. Like his last lap at 206.4, he's off pace compared to Sapstead's 205.6. But I think the Orders have got a bit of a lead change happening right now.
Yeah, Rattray White has snuck through into the race lead on William Sapstead up before turn 2. So they've made the old switcheroo, and Sam Muir is biding his time. Will he get a chance to sneak on by and take the race lead as well? If he can cop himself 150 points off the back of tonight's race, well, that would be sensational for Sam Muir. He has driven exactly how he does across the season, as you said. For those over on Speed Cafe who haven't been following us the whole season, Sam Muir is Mr. Consistent. He is ultra stoic. He will sit himself in the position where he knows he's getting good points, and he won't push the car too hard to put it into a dangerous position where if one wrong move happens, he is going to end up without points in the race. He will take points for third tonight. He won't be thinking about the race win. He'll know that P3 points are good enough, and a hell of an amount of points to take away from the weekend, which has got wild cards in it. It's Bathurst, which can always be chaos, and heading into Belle Isle, where he hasn't got the pace advantage over Ben Pedersen, this will be helping him immensely right now. And when we compare it to where Pedersen is, because he has been trying to run up through the field, obviously, from his earlier efforts, well, unfortunately for Ben, he's back in the field in P29, so he's not really gaining very much on Sam. In fact, he's not gaining anything, and he's losing the championship at this point.
Yep, unfortunate end. Like, it's been a long season, but yeah, we live and learn and we go on. But yeah, I'm interested to see, we're down to 14 and a half minutes to go, whether, so we saw what Zach was doing early on, possibly just sitting behind Sapstead to save a bit of fuel, but right now, he's not drawing away. I would have thought, once he's made that move, his last lap, his first lap in the lead, was his fastest lap, 2:05.5. We've got Wiley Blair is requesting a tow, so this could change things dramatically.
Oh, this is up at the exit of Griffin's Bend, and that car's got big damage on it. It's been in the wall, and I believe the safety car is on track, so the fuel game is now null and void.
Yep.
And you would assume this is going to be yet another one-lap safety car, because of the fact that, well, no one's a lap down, except for Wiley. That was close.
That was too
very,
close.
Very close.
I was at the working at Phillip Island today for the Improved Production National Championships, and they're on again tomorrow. They've got 100 cars nominated. It's a fantastic field. But there was quite a significant incident, turn 8 at Phillip Island today. Car ended up in the gravel trap. And I can tell you right now, just the same as what's going on just then. That's bad by Wiley. He's already lost the rears, though. He's already lost the rear wing. So so no surprises at that loop. Just like last night too, we saw one of the Mustangs loop it in the exact same spot. Cars don't tend to lift a lot when there's yellow flags out. It's almost the go faster flag and catch up flag. So interesting.
Just see, this is the last lap. This is how he lost the rear wing. So he went round.
Yeah.
Oh, and then backed in the wall. So he didn't
hit it.
Yeah, I know. Now, unless he's already used his fast repair for whatever reason, but even then,
why wouldn't you?
It's undrivable without the rear wing. You know, like why wouldn't you use it?
So here's the thing, though. Did he know he didn't have a rear wing? You know what I mean? Like he might not have realised it.
Look,
you would think he would have.
Could he see it in the rear view? I mean, that's
I don't know what he's got his settings at. You would think he would be able to, and certainly coming down the rest of the mountain and certainly into the chase, you would certainly think that he would feel that he's got no rear grip there. But that was that car was a bit of a mess before it.
Yeah, it was indeed. So, but safety car's out once again. We're on for what I thought was going to happen, Brenton, which is a safety car per race. So this has worked out. Apparently Moore has come out of Wiley Blair from that lap. So he was coming down the straight, already without a rear wing. Oh my God. So even then you would know.
He would know. He would know. He's going to hit this wall, is he? No, he's not. Okay, so the question needs to be, why are you not pitting Wiley? What's there to, what's in it to stay out there and do that? Especially when you had a quick repair, the cars do get repairs could have easily you're boxed it, got the car fixed, remain competitive. But he's, yeah, bad choice.
Oh, that's all right. We might be able to see him come back at some point as well. Safety car's out there, so we would assume it's going to be a one-lap safety car once again, being that there's no cars a lap down.
Well, the 86 is already towed, so I would say that yes, ready to go sooner than before later. I think Race Control done a good job in controlling the safety car tonight. Yep, going green at the end of this lap. So we're going to have pretty much a 10-minute shootout, which is fantastic. So looking forward to some action here.
10 minutes, roughly 5 laps or so for the final part of this race, and everyone has been boxed up back together again. What sort of pace can Nixon bring to the back of Sam Muir, Sapstead and Rattray White now that he's passed Angus Lawford? Must point out as well, Brenton, Angus Lawford apparently hates driving at Bathurst, but he's currently sitting P5, so surely he's got to like it at this point.
Yeah, no, well, I've got an ERT teammate. I'm not going to say Chad Lewis's name out loud, but he's the same. He does not like Bathurst. You think, what are you thinking, boy? So, how can you not love this place?
How could you not?
It's one of these venues. It's like going to the MCG for the first time. Even if there's nothing on, it has its own atmosphere, its own aura. Suncorp Stadium, to a point up in Brisbane, it has its own aura.
I would even argue Optus Stadium as well over in Perth.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
these wondrous venues that have got something about them.
You drive up that hill past the Tate College on your way into Bathurst, and as soon as you get onto the straight, you see the Repco signage and Coates Hire, all that stuff. You just feel like you're part of it. Even if there's nothing on this.
It's a similar feeling, Brenton, driving into the parking lot of even tracks like Sandown, and you hear the cars on the track as you park in the car, and if you're parked away from the gate, you walk down. It really just gives a semblance of.
No, please don't compare Sandown to Bathurst. Please.
I mean, I love Sandown, so that's why.
Yeah, no. Have you been to Bathurst? Have you?
I've never been to Bathurst, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, do not dare compare Sandown to Bathurst. The only other place you can remotely compare to it, and it is Phillip Island. You come to Phillip Island, it's got its own aura about it. No, I'm not saying.
You're only saying that, Brenton, because you work at Phillip Island. That's the only reason
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I have been to Phillip Island, and I think the location of Phillip Island obviously is so special. It's right on the edge of the island. It is a gorgeous venue to be at. I mean, I love Sandown. I know it may not be everyone's cup of tea. I do love Sandown. I love Phillip Island as well. I consider both of them to be my home track because I live an hour away from both. So both of them are great circuits in my book, and I think we're very lucky in Victoria to have currently three full-time supercar circuits with Winton as well, and possibly with Calder in the future if they're able to get that track upgraded. So
won't happen.
No, I don't know if it will, but it would. A man can dream, surely. But we're underway once again. Green flag here at Bathurst as Rattray White gets us underway and around the final turn and up towards the start-finish line. Once again, it is 8 minutes on the clock, 4 laps of Mount Panorama left to be run. Who can claim the crown this evening? Matt Stewart has done well tonight, probably been one of the more consistent drivers inside of the top 10. Fitzpatrick's done well too, as Sapstead hasn't managed to hang with Rattray White off the restart as he did off the race start earlier on. Muir's hanging back a little bit, maybe anticipating something happening across this next lap as we run it up and around Griffin's Bend. Once again, off the exit and up towards the cutting. Sapstead, I mean, he's looking racy. He's got good pace tonight. Rattray White, well, he's looking as clean and swift as ever as they run through the cutting and up towards Silman Park. And for these drivers further back in the field, well, they're having just got time on. He's got great pace, as Sapstead.
He's got pace. And doing a really good job. Also a position change with Nixon and Lawford. So you're Sam Muir at the moment. You're P3 in this race. Championship's pretty much yours if you cross the finish line, and you've got Connor Nixon coming up pretty quick. Another mistake here.
And that looks like it may have been on his own, but I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll get a look at it in a moment. But Sapstead is looking very, very impressive tonight. Incredibly quick. as they run through Forest Elbow once again. We just see the train of cars following them. Little locker breaks there from Harry Dodds inside of the top 10 as John Akers has just gone round at the cutting as well, and he's currently trying to turn around at the end of the S's. He's facing the wrong way in the 89 car too, so...
Horrible place to be. Horrible place to be. Yep. Gee, Sapstead's making a move here.
Oh, he is. He wants it through the chase on Rattray White if he can get it. He can't quite get the run through, though. It's been an electrifying run thus far. This one, oh, that there is a wild crash for Akers. Yep, so that was the moment he had that saw him facing the wrong way.
There's championship implications of severe tonight. Like I said, some of these guys haven't handled it probably as well as they would want to. We're down to the last 5.5 minutes now, so we're still going to race on. Sapstead's pressure is elite. Oh, that's a bit...
Oh!
Who's that? Fitzpatrick?
That was Fitzpatrick, just getting a bit loose off of turn 1. So Sapstead, though, is really starting to light this race up. It's electrifying.
Oh, he's quick.
The intensity at the front of the field. He's got great pace on Rattray White through turn 1, or through turn 2 they go. And he's all over the back of him. Muir just trying to hang on to them at the moment.
I'm wondering whether Sapstead in the first stint before the safety car was going into fuel-saving mode. That's how Muir got, how Rattray White got past. I reckon he was saving fuel, but now three of them are unleashed. Muir's getting involved in something he doesn't need to get involved in.
Yes, indeed. This was Brady Stanley up at turn 2. Pedersen on the inside. Oh, it's big contact into the wall.
Yeah, a lot going on there. A lot going on.
Oh, there was a wide run further back from Connor Nixon, who just dropped position there to Angus Lawford as well, as he ran on board with Sapstead. One of the wild cards at the moment. Nixon has now got massive pressure from Fitzpatrick as well, so it is all on inside of the top 10. And as we run it through Forest Elbow, it's 4.5 minutes to go. On board with Fitzpatrick down the straight, and we'll see just how much pressure is being applied, and you can watch them. Now, they're only allowed 2 moves down the straight, remember, as well, so they can only defend so much down the straight as Dodds is putting the pressure now on Logan Howard, and it's a repeat of last night's battle in the Rod Knott Cup, as through comes Dodds, past Howard again, and up into P8, and he's really been on the improvement bubble this season as Harry. He'll be hoping to find his way back in the gold class next season as he'll continue as a silver class driver, but Sapstead is all over Zach Rattray White. All over him.
So for those that watched the last round of the Gamesman GT Pro Invitational last night, this is a familiar sight. There's a Eclipse car in front of a accompanying car putting so much pressure on. Last night, Damon Woods was under so much pressure. Oh, look at that. So much pressure from Byron Pierce. For 35 minutes held him off. That was, who was that, McRae? Who was that?
That was, Jared McLeod.
McLeod?
Caught the curb. Very similar to...
this.
Oh, my God.
Muir's getting involved. He don't need to, Sam.
I mean, it's 1 lap to go. He wants to have a crack at him.
Well, it's probably 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go.
Might be 2, yeah.
Oh, around the outside's not going to stick. You're not going to hold that, are you?
Oh, my God. Rattray White. Sapstead. Oh, my God.
Bit of a touch. Look at the field now. There's nothing between the top 5. Oh, Rattray White's hit the wall.
These guys are turning it on. Rattray White is feeling the pressure. And look at the gaggle of cars behind him as well. There's Lawford, there's Nixon, there's Blake Fitz as well. They're all wanting to get into it as we run it up towards Skyline once again. So it is really starting to intensify. The pressure is building. The burn has turned up to a maximum. We're at boiling point right now as Sapstead is into the race lead with only a few laps to go. Rattray White, late dive into Forest Elbow. Can't quite get there.
Geez, he's lucky, Rattray White. He's dodged an absolute bullet there because that car hit a wall hard. Hit the wall hard, but now you'll probably see the little difference here, the straight line speed of Sapstead. He is away. He's drawing away. He's already half a second ahead, despite being in the draft. Rattray White has to push hard here. And as for Muir and Fitzpatrick, do you need to get involved? Well, certainly Muir, because at the moment, wide.
Oh, Nixon and Fitzpatrick have locked up, and I think Muir's gone off as well. I think Muir might have locked up too, and Fitzy's rejoined the track, and it's absolute chaos off the chase. Turned up Win Cup and McLaughlin-esque.
What an
It's all
incident. What
happening
we don't
here.
need.
I know.
Last lap coming up.
It's the last lap of the race. We had a car parked up, by the way, up at McPhillamy Park for a period there. That was Jacob Hughes. He's been allowed to tow back to pit lane. So Sam Muir has now dropped back to P5. And Fitzy's just trying to get going again.
Well, he's had a go. There's no doubt about that. So at the moment, wildcard 1, 2, 3. Angus Lawford P4 has done a fantastic job tonight. He's my driver of the night because he has gone above and beyond. Looking at Sapstead, looking likely to push hard and maybe win this race and win the night. But gee, Lawford's impressed me tonight.
Oh, he's done well. He's really, really done well. As Angus Lawford and
meanwhile over the top, these two are still not. These two are going hard at it. It's between Sapstead and Ratway White. Don't be surprised if Connor Nixon, who's already 2.5 seconds off these guys, don't be surprised if we see Connor Nixon on the top step.
He
These
can very
guys
well
got
get
nothing
there.
to lose, don't forget. They've got nothing to lose. There's no championship. This is just go for the win. Just go for the win.
Just go for the win if you can. As Rattray White is right on William Sapstead. If these guys come together, it's a big dive at Forest Elbow. There's a little bit of contact. Dorsey out the way.
Wow.
Through goes Rattray White on Will Sapstead.
It didn't look that bad. Didn't look that bad.
No,
And,
it
you know,
didn't.
Just for the sake of it, just play on. Zach has got himself away. What a
He's
race.
managed to find a breakaway move as they run down through the chase. The clock's about to tick over the 25 minutes, so we've barely gone overtime in race 2. And around the chase we come. He managed to pull it up. He managed to get it into a race-winning position once again. Bathurst, well, that's gone the way of Zach Rattray White, who goes 2 from 2 at Mount Panorama. And Eclipse have claimed an all-time win in the VRS Porsche Cup Series. As it's still on for the Miners right now, Matt Stewart sneaks past Ellie Gardner further back in the field as well. In fact, it was the fastest lap of the race too from Rattray White at 2:05.505.
Did what he had to do when he needed to do it. Good job. Good racing.
And I'm going to assume that Mr. Rattray White is a member of this server, of course, Mr. O'Brien. So I'll tell our RC just to send him in.
I can do that myself once I find him. I can get him right now.
Very good.
Done.
Wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Well, it's a hell of a race, and for these drivers, it was a hell of an end for it as well. I mean, what a drive. And the fact that both of them co-driving together in the 1000 tomorrow.
Yeah,
battling for a race win today. I mean, it's fantastic stuff. It's Zach Rattray White ahead of Will Sapstead, Connor Nixon, all wild cards for the top 3. Angus Lawford, Sam Muir. Angus Lawford won out for the gold class side ahead of Harry Dodds, who won for the silvers ahead of Logan Howard. Pat Klein, Matt Stewart, Ellie Gardner, P10 on the road tonight, but she would have gained some good points there. Back over Rodney Golan after race 1 this evening. Curtis Bird, Mitchell Curry out in behind them. Craig Schultz, Matt Howard, Damien Cairns. Kurt Chapman wins it for the bronze class again, so he's more than likely wrapped up that championship now for the bronze class as well. Rodney Golan, Ryan Mueller in behind with Stacey Boyd and Brody Sentence for the top 20 cars on the field. It was then Jamie Fleming ahead of Ben Pedersen, who had just an unfortunate night on the road, and drop rounds may save the championship just yet, but it is going to be an almighty climb up Mount Everest for Ben Pedersen at Belle Isle on Monday night. Blake Fitzpatrick ahead of Jack Anderson, Gary Watson, Barry Punter, Jared McLeod, Brady Stanley, John Akers and Jacob Hughes made up our top 30. Wiley Blair, our only non-finisher, and Byron Phillips never got started in race 2. Into the booth, if you can drag him, please, Brenton, because I don't have the ability to, is Mr. Zach Rattray White. Zach, congratulations. Race win in race 1, race win in race 2, and you got to have a hell of a Porsche Cup battle with your Bathurst 1000 co-driver tomorrow in William Sapstead. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. That was just a bit of fun, I think. It's yeah, always nice to come and do something a little bit different. I don't usually drive this car too much, so yeah, it was good fun.
I think you might need to drive it a little bit more often, maybe. I mean, you putting on a hell of a show out there. Obviously, it's been a big week for you. GT Pro Series last night, qualifying earlier on tonight. Cup race now, top 15 shootout coming up as well, plus the 1000 tomorrow. I mean, just how insane are you to be doing that much racing across a weekend at this sort of level, across what is 3 completely different car types?
Yeah, realistically, it's not too much more work, to be honest. I mean, it's makes it a little interesting with timing and stuff because I've got to be jumping in and out of servers like I am right now. But I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, there's a lot of time in between sessions and series and whatnot to kind of just chill out and do what you want to do and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different. I mean, this is the only week of the year that something like this actually happens for me, so try and make the most of it.
You certainly made the most of it tonight. A double win, of course, around Bathurst. Of course, the shootout's still to come, the 1000 tomorrow. You'd be hopeful, surely, that you can maybe get yourself a pole position tonight and maybe go home and get the win tomorrow as well out at in the 1000 events. How much pressure is there now on you coming up for this shootout? Is it max pressure, or is it head in there, see what you can do, and prepare for tomorrow for the 1000 Ks?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the pressure for this thing coming up, it's probably high because you don't really do a shootout all year besides this one. But I mean, it is a long race, so realistically anything could happen. But yeah, I'm not too worried about this. I just got to remember that I'm on the right side of the car now instead of the left.
Well, it was a great race from yourself, Zach. Congratulations on both race wins across the two races here. Let us know anyone you want to give a shout out to, whether that be friends or family you may be watching, or any team sponsors over at Eclipse.
Yeah, well, the guys at Eclipse, of course, they're kept me good company during those races, or running the puppet dock, as Damo would say. So he's yeah, telling me to go in on Will on that last lap. Which anyway, yeah. Thanks for you guys for hosting it. That's most important.
Well, thank you so much, Zach. Best of luck in the 15 shootout coming up, and best of luck in the 1000 tomorrow as well. Congratulations on the race win.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks so much. Zach Rattray White, our race and round winner here this evening. And Brenton, that's going to bring an end to Porsche Cup action. It was phenomenal stuff. Everything I could have hoped it would have lived up to. It exceeded those expectations and even more. Coming up shortly, of course, we have the top 15 shootout to come for the V8 Pro Invitational. Bathurst 1000 tomorrow. 15 drivers will attempt to run solo qualifying laps around this magnificent 6.2k circuit. It is going to be maximum pressure and maximum intensity once again, so you guys don't want to go anywhere when Scott Rankin and Stephen Sandman Clark return momentarily. If you want to catch more of the Porsche Cup action, well, you can catch us over Infinity Broadcasting. We've got Monday night's event to come up of our finale round out at Belle Isle, where Sam Muir, Ellie Gardner and Kurt Chapman will try and win their respective championships to their challenges going forward. But from myself, Hamish Rundle, and Brenton O'Brien, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back very shortly with the top 15 shootout to come here at Mount Panorama.
The human hand, the ultimate biomechanical tool. We design mice for the hands of the best. Hundreds of tests, thousands of metrics, refining every curve in every millimeter to provide breakthrough performance for every hand and every player. Introducing the Pro X Super Light 2, compact, designed with pros, engineered to win.
Hi, my name's Courtney Prince, and last year I competed in Porsche Carrera Cup with BWT. Today I've been on the sims with the OG race gear. I love the new gloves. They're really breathable and awesome, so you don't get sweaty hands using your normal race gloves on the sim. The socks are also really good. You don't get sore feet on the sim. I also think in training they'll be really handy as well.
Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
We are gaming fanatics. Our goal has never been to just play games. We think it's much better to feel like you're actually in the game. This feeling is what drives us as we create world-class gaming chairs. Our one aim, give you a brand new gaming experience. Help you move in perfect sync with everything on screen. Make sure you're having a ton of fun. It took us decades to achieve this, and we're still not satisfied. Every day, we wake up to get better. We'll never stop designing the very best to help you be your best. When it's all said and done, our job's only done if you're in full flow and focused on your victory. May you win, and win big.
After all the trials and tribulations of qualifying and the session dipping in temperature late on, it is time for the Bathurst 1000 shootout. 15 cars, an isolated mountain, and every opportunity to advance your grid position to nab pole position for all of the 1,000 kilometers. After Porsche Cup action that led us in naturally to this one, Sam, man, it is time to let them loose.
Absolutely. It's one of the highlights of the season, isn't it? When you make the top 15 shootout and you're one of the drivers that are lucky enough to tackle this mountain, have it all to yourself just for that one lap. And I know there's a lot of people just got goosebumps at the moment just thinking about that opportunity. It's what people dream about in the real world. And it's what we dream about in our sim racing world too. Anyone can go out in practice and do a lap by themselves, but when it means something, when it means an actual shot and a grid spot for the 1,000, that's when the pressure starts to rise, and it's something that we have been waiting for all year, and it's right here. We're only minutes away.
Yeah, one opportunity a year to do a shootout lap, and it's the circuit all to yourself. That is what it is all about. I can tell you at the end of pit lane right now, Madison Down is sat and ready to go. He'll get an opportunity to roll around. The track will be his for about 2.5 minutes or so until he comes back to start his lap. At the moment, sitting at the end of pit lane, you can see everybody else starting to file in, check their setups, make sure that everything is ready to go, because you only get one lap, one opportunity. And I just heard the call. He's about to make his way out and onto the circuit.
Go. I think we were a little bit perplexed in qualifying, weren't we? I don't think any of us expected the fact that it was Madison Down who only just scraped in by the absolute smallest of margins just to be a top 15 contender. So the beauty of that is, although it's not ideal, there's absolutely zero pressure for Madison Down right now, because worst case scenario, he starts 15th and that's where he is at the moment. So if he can put something together and probably make as little mistakes as what the others made behind him, he could be an absolute position where, who knows? Are we talking pole position? Maybe not. But the shootout, you just never know. But regardless of what happens here, he's got absolutely zero to lose.
Yeah. The guys that have it all to lose. Look, at the back end of the day, if there's an improvement from here, awesome. If there's not, okay, well, we scraped into the 15th spot. So only on the up from here. He's got the opportunity to take that car through the cycle, but the other side of the coin is, for this man, he's done so many of these shootout laps. He's aware. Think about all the way back when he first started sim racing, when he first got into a V8 supercar and did his first ever shootout lap. The nerves were high back then. Now he's a member of the Hall of Fame. The nerves have calmed a little bit. Life has moved on quite a lot. The birth of his first child. He's, bought a house as well. And for anyone who hangs around after the racing action here, he's always got words. Oh, how did it feel out there tonight? What was it like? What was the racing like? And then talking about years gone by as well. So it's nearly the right thing to give him the first lap in this shootout on a weekend where he becomes a member of the Hall of Fame.
I think regardless of how many races you've done, obviously you've talked about, we know what his legacy is, but I think any opportunity where you've got a chance at a pole position and in a shootout, I think there's still going to be nerves. There's still going to be butterflies. Yes, it's different when it's your first one, but I think any opportunity that this arises is still going to bring butterflies. But here he goes. He's had the warm-up, and now he prepares himself into the last corner where he'll start his one and only lap to decide the grid for the Bathurst 1000 tomorrow morning.
Here we go. First of the shootout laps for 2025. We've all waited for this on qualifying night. Launches out of the final corner. The run to start the lap. He's going to use every little bit of road, every little bit of real estate. And for Madison Down, firing off of turn one, it looks like he's gotten out of there relatively A-OK. Didn't look edgy, didn't look like the car was moving around. He was able to just apply that power and the car was compliant.
To give you some sort of indication, I think it was Jared Filsell got into the 5.7s. That was in the half-hour qualifying session, so a little bit different when you got to do one lap in anger. But we even saw with the pace that Filsell had earlier, I think his first lap was a 5.9. So that's what Madison knows. That's probably the target that they're going to chase. I believe the conditions, the way they're at the moment, no one's really had a feel of what the car's like. So this is their first run in it. Very different from what we experienced in the 30-minute quali session coming up to you.
Up and across the top, uses all the real estate that's available to him. The tip in, the run through McPhillamy. Then it's the rise and the fall. Over Brock Skyline, down through the S's to the dipper. First lap was nice and accurate there at the turn in just before the dipper on the right-hand side. Dipper looked okay, all of the track out the other side. Now it's to the elbow. Car looked a little bit skittish as it transitioned up and over the bump on the run down to the elbow. Power down nicely. That looks clear. Again, it doesn't look fast, Sam, man, but it looks accurate.
Yeah, well, sometimes, we say that too, don't we, in the commentary box? Sometimes some of the fastest laps don't look fast, but it's all going to be down. It's going to be hard to pick as far as where it's going to put him because the conditions are a little bit different. And being the first cab off the ranks, obviously he starts to set a marker, but it looks fairly tidy so far. So he's hoping that a nice clean one will be fast on the board.
Well, final corner. You've thought about every moment. You've thought about this one. The final corner. Murray's brake, turn it in, apply the accelerator. Only a couple 100 meters to go. Nice out of the final corner. 206.239. That's an improvement from where he was earlier on. But it is a fresh track out there. Fresh in terms of the amount of rubber that's been laid down. Fresh in terms of the temperatures. Well, there's lap one in the books.
Yep, I think he'll breathe a sigh of relief now. He knows that regardless of what happens, he's put down the marker. He now just sits back and watches and sees how his time holds up.
Oh, Albert, another man that's been around the sim racing sphere for a long period of time. Competed internationally. His highest echelon that he's reached over his time period on the sim, Rallycross. So, at the moment, I'll tell you what, I've just got sector times there. I actually want to say there's another member of the Hall of Fame that's actually with us here tonight. All three of them are actually in attendance here for Shootout Night. One of them's in the race control booth, one of them's in the commentary booth, and one of them's out on the racetrack. We've already seen the one for the racetrack. So to Jay Kennedy, who sits alongside of us, congratulations on your entry into the Hall of Fame and very, very deserving member.
Oh, absolutely, I second that, mate. I've had the pleasure of knowing Jay for quite some time and working with him back in the old days of V8's Online. And yeah, very fitting that he got that award. Himself, Simon Black, and of course Madison Down, our first 3 inductees to the Australian Sim Racing Hall of Fame. A huge honour. And Jay, from Scotty, myself, everyone involved, a huge congratulations, mate. We're super proud of you, and keep up the great work. I know it's an absolute honour to work with you. I think you were part of the reason why I came back to commentary and why I got started in the first place, mate. So super proud.
Well, for Bo Albert, a lot of time spent preparing those tyres, bringing them into their optimal range, which is quite cold for the supercars on iRacing. Out of the final corner, his opportunity on the map. And again, another member that's been here, done this before. He says, oh, look, really, I don't actually get all that nervous, to be perfectly honest with you. It's just settled, go about my business. And actually got a little bit of a side swipe from Luke Rosella that said, mate, I don't know, I'm not trying to call you old, but if you're not getting nervous to go out racing, I think it's probably time to retire. Sector 1. The timing from Madison Down was a 47.407 to the end of the first sector. We'll be coming up on that line right here, right now. In through the cutting. Again, nice and accurate. There's no attitude. The big thing from the first 2 is they're not sliding tyres anywhere. 47.407. He beats it by 3,000ths of a second. What we was talking about there being no attitude, there it is.
Yeah, he's still wringing that neck. You can just see too, just getting on the power, that sliding around a little bit. Absolutely nothing in it at the timing line so far, so we'll be checking out that Sector 2 split now. Car looks good.
At the Sector 2 timing line, he's got to beat a 30.583. Well, he's 2/10ths down. He's exactly 2/10ths down, which means he's negative 0.196 at this point in time. He's got to find 2/10ths all the way down here. That's just going to be 9 impossible. And I just wonder whether or not that slide across the top, that might have just done it for him.
Yeah, but then in saying that, you know, he might just have that, I don't know, a good exit out of the corner, out of the last corner, possibly, that he might get over Madison. It might be a drag race. But yeah, 2/10ths is a decent margin to make up. Hard on the brakes. Car looks good as he turns in. Grabs that bump on the inside there. Up on the ripple strip. The tail doesn't get away from him. Looks good. What's it going to be to the line?
Yeah, but that middle sector's probably cost him. He's chasing a 48.249 in this final sector. To the line. Time he's going to be 206.239. It's not going to be good enough for that. Bo Albert will take one step backwards for the moment. Madison Down has picked one up, which means he's just dropped that spot. Next car to be released is going to be that of Adam Briggs to get to go and do a lap. But for the meantime, like we were saying, for Madison Down, it's just that opportunity to be out there first. He got into the 15, and, well, he's already improved one spot.
We're getting some information from the track too, is that the track temperature's just gone up 0.8 of a degree. That was between sort of Mad's run and then Bo's run. So was that enough? Was that a playing factor? We can see there's a lot more sunlight here at the moment. It was very dark and overcast when Madison went out. So it'll be interesting to see if this will affect the run here.
So you're just keeping an eye on things down in pit lane. Pit lane is shrouded in cloud cover at the moment and darkness. So it is exceptionally cool still down the bottom end of the mountain. Look at him. He is not wanting to put any tyre temperature into those tyres whatsoever. And guarantee when we get to the back end of the session, Jared Phillips will know exactly what he needs to do to get the tyres into the exact range that he wants. It'll be very, very interesting to note the differences in the preparation laps. So for now, the go-karter from Lismore, New South Wales, only lives less than 90 minutes away from where I am. Got an opportunity to meet him earlier on in the year. Said hello. We ended up sharing a conversation that led to us realizing we had a few mutual friends. He's a larrikin. He's a savvy customer. He also goes about things in an interesting manner. He's one to have a laugh. He's quite popular amongst his Synergy Sim Racing teammates. Best first sector so far of the night. 47.404 belongs to Bo Albert, but the rest of them belong to the 77 machine. Madison down for Adam Briggs. What's the time going to be when we get out the other side of the cutting? And again, they're all really tidy in these first sectors.
Yep. Not let the nerves. 47.425. So nothing in it. It's very, very close for sector 1.
Yep. Looks a lot better up and across the top. Remember, Bo had that huge moment just before going underneath the tree. And for him to brush skyline, he'll rise and fall down through the gears. Pull it up nice and accurately, turn it in early at the dipper, and the car just bites when you've nailed it. 30.567 means he's got the best Sector 2 time. And it's just about enough. I tell you what, they are 0.003 of a second between himself and Madison Downs, separated to the Sector 2 line. There is nothing in it between these two guys at the moment.
Yeah, blink and you miss it. Adam's just sinking now. He's just got a foot flat to the floor. Brake as late as he dares as he comes into the chase. Car looks good. He's not locking up a tyre, which is crucial. Grabs a little bit of curb on the inside. That's fine. The car's stable. Looks good. Absolutely nothing in it. It's hold your breath stuff now.
Well, to the final sector time. Needs to be to 48.249. What's it going to be for car number 72, the Mustang from Synergy Sim Racing? 3.46, it's not enough. Madison Downs already gained 2 spots, you know. He goes to P2, but I don't think necessarily car 72 will be all that happy with that lap.
Wow. I'll tell you someone who is pretty happy with their lap is car 77. We said the worst case scenario for Madison coming in. He starts P15. He's currently up a couple of spots now, so he's just sitting back and watching.
So the big advantage at the moment for car 77 is actually being sector 3. That'll be the critical part of the lap right now. Car number 7, Ethan Greek-Galt, the national Hyundai Excel champion, rides on board one of his cohort, also races in the Hyundai Excels and Ryan O'Sullivan. So a pairing with a lot of experience. Ethan was racing Excels earlier on in the year from the mountain as well. Opportunity to get experience there. Although the man, generally when you're a national champion of a category, earning a little bit more experience is not necessarily as needed, but hey, you won't complain anytime you get to go out there and hang laps around Bathurst in a race car.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at the screen. It looks a lot sunnier out on track. It was very overcast. Actually, we're just getting, as I say that, we're getting information through now as the track temperature is now 26 degrees. It was 24.8 when Madison was out on track. So
and for Ethan,
he might have hit the sweet spot.
Might have just gotten a little bit lucky with the passing cloud cover. I can tell you there is sunshine down in pit lane, down at the bottom of the mountain. Compared to the last time by, Adam Briggs, Greek-Galt, has got a lot sunnier bottom end of the mountain. He will fire off down through turn 1. And again, same thing. Used a little bit of the curb, not all of it, but again, looking for accuracy in a compliant car. Have a look at how low the rear end of the Mustang sits on the road. They are absolutely soft at the rear end of these things.
Yep, doing what they utmost can as far as, straight line speed, trying to get that wing out of the air, get as less drag as they can. See what they've got. Again, car looks good. You can't fault his line at the moment. All eyes are on Sector 1 split.
3 drivers that have run thus far. 3 drivers that have all had different sectors be their strongest. So 1 purple sector each. Ethan Greek-Galt will not set the flying sector in Sector 1. 5.21 means that he is currently 1.17 tenths away from Bo Albert's purple sector 1 time, but the time he's chasing at the moment is Madison down. He's got to find some time here, looking for a 5.83 to beat Madison down. Sector 2 time of 5.67 to go purple in Sector 2. 30.467, purple in Sector 2 for Greek-Galt now. So he is starting to light the afterburner.
Perfect exit 2, ran it right up against the concrete wall there, didn't hit it. And now it's just foot flat to the floor. Try to put as less wheel work in it as he can. Just pin it straight, get ready for the chase. And again, last of the late breakers, see if you can get it turned in nicely, power down and a run to the line.
I tell you, at the Sector 2 time, I just did the math quickly. He was 0.02 of a second up on Madison Down at the Sector 2 line. That has been tight between Adam Briggs, Madison Down, and Bell Albert. And Greek Galt to the Sector 2 timing line. Looking to beat a 48.249 in the final sector. He was up by 0.02 when they got to Sector 2. The last sector's again been accurate. 48.249. What's he going to do it? He's 0.2 away. And again, Madison Down is going to move up another spot. So 48.469. That last sector from Down was supreme.
It was a great lap by Ethan, but what I'm noticing is that track temperature's gone up 2 degrees since Madison was out on track. So that's actually working in his favour. He's loving that little bit of cloud cover. So for the moment, we hear about drivers, they want to go out there and do the rain dance. I think Madison's out there screaming and do a bit of a sunshine dance. He wants a UV to light up this racetrack, because the hotter it gets, the more difficult it's going to be for these other drivers to capitalise and make the grounds that he did in those overcast conditions.
It's just ticked up another half a degree as well. So I was just hearing a little bit of whispers going on in the background from chatter in the server comms. There was some words about, well, you got to remember that it is a sim at the end of the day. You can be given an unsafe pit lane entry, pit lane exit. Bowler did receive one of those. There's a couple different options to how they can handle it to clear the penalty. That's one way of sorting it out. So for Matthew Bowler, the man that cops flack from all of his teammates that I call him the lovable larrikin from time to time, never hears the end of that one. He's gone for a different opportunity to warm the tyres, bring the tyres in. He's a little bit of weaving. None of the rest of the guys have done that thus far.
It's a good exit. Nice smooth on the power. This is crucial now. Let the nerves settle a little bit. Get on the brakes for turn 1. Car turns in nice. Back on the throttle. Not too bad of an exit now. And he's just watching that tacho, pulling the gears, waiting for the turn to come up, and again, just to get as late as he dares on the brake.
How deep does he think about going at Griffins? Pulls it up.
Little wiggle.
Little wiggle. That might take some life out of the tyres. Again, still chasing 47.404 from Bo Albert, or a 407 to beat Madison Down on top of the table at the moment. Car 12, 5.24, which again means he's just over 1/10 of a second away from the guys that ran a little bit earlier on in the session. I tell you what, we might have seen the best of the conditions for this one. Just a lick before 5 p.m. in sim at the moment.
Yeah, and look, take nothing away. Oh, there's the attitude up over the bumps there. Take nothing away from these guys. They're pumping out some great laps. You look at the times, there's nothing in it between it. So 6.2, 6.3, 6.4 and a 6.5 for our top 4 at the moment. It's just the track conditions are sort of favouring the early runners at this stage.
Well, there's no rubber being laid down in the session whatsoever. It is a fresh green track, and that means it is a challenge to the drivers. They all want to get pole position. 30.617 to the second sector for Bowler means that he is a fair way away on this one. This is not going to be a great lap, and to be honest with you, he's only just on track to potentially beat Bo Albert at this point in time. Bowler came into this one, qualified at the end of the session in 11th spot. And at the end of this one, unless this final sector is amazing, it's not going to be all that much of an improvement. I tell you what, I don't think he's going to beat Bo. He goes to last in the session by 0.02 of a second between himself and Bo Albert.
Nothing in it. Nothing in it. And again, it's like exactly what I said. You don't take anything away from these guys. We haven't seen the cars, get out of shape, and they haven't been having horrible laps. It's just that the times are so close, and the weather's playing a huge factor with these track conditions. It's going to be luck of the draw about how and when you roll out a pit lane and what the conditions are going to be like.
Well, we haven't seen a lot of attitude out of these cars, Sam, man. I want to pose you this question. With the lack of grip on the track, do you reckon they haven't heated up the front tyres enough?
Because it looks like, from what I'm seeing, they're turning in okay. So usually if you're struggling with that front temp, you're not really getting your apex. So I don't know. I think the cars look good on track. I think maybe it's just conditions. Like you said, the track conditions as far as rubber and everything, it's something that these guys haven't run. You know, it's different from what we ran in quali, in practice. So I don't know. It's just maybe it's just everyone's so close, and the weather conditions and the track conditions are really playing a factor.
Well, we've seen 3 cars so far from the Evolution Racing Team stable, and we're about to see the second one come out of Trans-Tasman. Jake Maloney, Richard Hampstead's his co-driver, has been right the way throughout the endurance season. The man was absolutely electric in the rain for the Scott Sandown 500 just a couple weeks ago. Now what has he got for us in a top 15 shootout as the weather starts to swing? I think another big point that's also worthwhile mentioning, wind speed was just up at 18 kilometers an hour just a few moments ago, down to 13 kilometers an hour. So there's a bit of a swing around of the wind. It is a little bit blustery. It's not massive, it's not tempest force winds, but it is just blowing around a fraction.
Love it. And that's a huge credit to iRacing and the weather model and the things that we've got now a part of this sim racing. It's just brilliant. It's everything has to fall right for you. You have to put a lap together. You have to be on the right, right tire at the right time. You have to be there with the track conditions are spot on for you as well. But look, Maloney 47.4.
Does get back into the fours at the first sector line. He's still he's about 800ths of a second away though from the fastest through sector 1 so far. Bo Albert still has sector 1 at the moment. And it's been Greek Galt that now has that purple time in sector 2. And it's back to Madison Down for the purple time in sector 3 on the session thus far. 30.517 to the second sector time is good. That is probably good enough to bring him just about, he'd be a couple thousandths behind Madison Down. He might be a 100th of a second behind Madison Down heading to the sector 2 timing line. So the sector 2 timing line, they're all really, really even. It's this final sector where Down found the drive.
Turn in on Maloney, looks good. Didn't grab too much curb, so the car was settled when it got to up off the 2 wheels, or a little bit up over the bump there too. Again, car settled, it's not doing a major slide on exit. Now it's all about that last run. Into this right-hander. Turns in. He's trying to beat his teammates. 206.239. He crosses the line at 206.293.
Absolutely electric between these guys. Jake Maloney goes to P2, and it's now by 500ths of a second. And again, we're just seeing a little bit of a shuffle, a little bit of a shake in everything thus far. New second best sector 3 timer, 48.285. Again, improvement in that middle sector, though. I think there's starting to be a little bit of rubber that's been laid down. How about this man, though? For all the trials and tribulations these guys have been through, for everything that happened last year, survived the opening lap the tail end of the race wreck at Sebring to start the year off, to put so many of our championship contenders on a big fat goose egg to start the season. That led a season-long fight back. And Dylan Rudd and Rick Kuznetsov led the way for such a long period of time through the middle of the year. He ended up closing that one out to finish off the year for Lobs Esports. And then, as soon as the dream was realised, all of a sudden, he was in search of a new team for 2025. Dylan Rudd's not had great car speed this year. It's not the best of Dylan Rudd that we've ever seen. But is the endurance calendar just an opportunity to find something again? The Chiefs have been starting to make speed later on in this championship. What has he got in store for us here with number 1 on board that car?
It's amazing when you come to the Enduros, and especially the 1000. I mean, regardless of what season you've had as a starter's lap, you can have the worst of seasons, but if you put together a great Bathurst campaign or a great endurance campaign, you kind of walk away with a little bit of a wiggle on exit there. That might cost him on the run up but I'll just finish what I was saying. It's, you know, you win Bathurst, it can make your year so much better. So that's what they'll be focused on. But now for Dylan Rudd, it's all about putting these sectors together. That little bit of a wiggle just on exit might cost him into Sector 1.
Now we get to Griffin's Bend. Not 100% certain of the car grip, and did you see that it was a touch of a slide through the middle of the corner? It looked like he actually missed the apex as well. He was just a metre or so wide at the turning point. Now to the cutting, makes the inside there, carries speed through the middle of the corner, runs a little bit wider at the exit of the cutting, but that puts him offline up and over the bump, and the car was not happy. 47.608, first sector time, not good. I think exit off turn 1's to blame.
That's the worst place too, because obviously you're carrying that speed all the way up that straightaway, and unfortunately he's almost 1.5 sort of tenths down. So
2 tenths, yeah.
2 tenths. So yeah, he's got a lot of work to make up. A lot of attitude on the car. It does settle though. It does bounce up over the curves, but as soon as it lands, it seems to squat and land pretty good. But a little bit wide on exit there too.
30.533 goes to the new second best Sector 2 time. So we gained half a tenth back on Madison Down at that point in time. He lost a fraction of time to Jake Maloney in the second sector. So I wonder whether or not conditions are starting to just improve a fraction as it stands at the moment. And he's just heated up the tyres a fraction, doesn't quite have the car grip underneath him. Down to Sector 3. He's going to need a mammoth time in Sector 3. He's going to need to find about 1.5 tenths. Nice and accurate. Use the curb at the apex of the chase. And the car was quite compliant there.
He did everything good off exit 2. He didn't get too close to the grass there. He used up all the racetrack. It's going to be a run to the finish line now. Time to beat a 206.239. He stops the clocks at a 206.552.
And that's the slowest of the times we've seen thus far today. So Dylan Rudd came into the session, qualified 9th out of the half an hour worth of qualifying sessions. So he's lost 6 spots so far. If that ends up being the slowest time of the session, remember there's still another 8 drivers to come. And after this one, we'll have hit about halfway through this lap. We'll have hit the halfway point of the session now. 7 runners on the board, and the track just seems tricky.
If the temperature goes down or the track temp goes down a little bit for Brady's run, the conspiracy theorists out there are going to start throwing their money around and say, hold on a second, they're doing all this for TTR. Every time a TTR car's gone out on track, the track temp's gone down just a fraction. So it worked for Madison Down. It did go down a little bit for Jake's run. So boy, oh boy, what do we got? 25. It is. It's going down a little bit. It was 26-1, I think, when Maloney went out.
Just browsing through Discord, I can tell you there's a Chiefs group, X Eclipse Sim Sports group together. There's an ERT group together watching along on Discord. There's 2 of them, in fact, for ERT. There's a Lobs group and there's a Synergy Sim Racing group. And all the Synergy Sim Racing cars at the moment are done for the session. So they're just sitting back. There's not much more they can do. There's a Trans-Tasman group as well. And for Brady Myers, there's one more from the Trans-Tasman stable to come after him. So he will be feeding information back to those cars. To the final corner, simrigs.com, Trans-Tasman Racing, number 22. We'll launch off the final corner. What's he got for us today?
Turn in looks good. Oh, opposite lock there on exit. So that's going to hurt his run. That's where you carry this speed. So that little wiggle might be enough to cost him. It was a great camera angle because it just showed you the amount of opposite lock that he had to put in and the steering angle. Oh, again, it looks like he's fighting it a little bit.
Just not accurate. This is the first time we've actually seen a lot of attitude at multiple corners from one of the cars. We obviously just saw it for Dylan Rudd, but Brady's pushing on. He is really trying to get to that gas pedal. 47.444 is a lot closer to the best times of the session. He is still 0.03 of a second away from a purple Sector 1 time. Is he able to find some time up and across the top? This is the first of the cars with a fair bit of attitude about them.
He's got the attitude, but the time's not too bad. Like I said, I was just looking at Maloney's Sector 1. He did a 47.491. So 47.444 he's still in the ballpark, even though the car looks like he's sort of had his challenges with it. 30.3 for Sector 2. So looks like that's the best purple middle sector, I think, now.
That is now the first driver down into the 30.3s in sector number 2, which means at this point in time, Brady Myers will be ahead by around about 2/10 on Madison down to the second sector. But Down has been supreme in the final sector at the moment. New purple to the second sector, 2/10 up. What's he able to do? Realistically, it's the simplest sector of the lot. Pull it up accurately at the chase. A lot of curb usage for Brady Myers on board the number 22. And for the Chevy to the final corner, he's on track to go to the top. Is he going to be able to put it together at the halfway mark? Is this going to be the new P1 time for Brady Myers? 48.265. Yes, he does. He just barely misses out on getting into the 5s. And Brady Myers will go to the top of the session thus far.
Wow, brilliant run there from Brady. It wasn't the tidiest of runs that we've seen out of all the 8 drivers so far. But boy, oh boy, he put it together, put down a decent time. And TTR lockout 1, 2, 3 for the moment. Still quite a few cars to come along.
I just got a message back. I've just been trying to ping a few people just to see if I can't get some feedback on exactly how the track is to drive at this point in time. Messaged Adam Briggs, and he said track state, really, really minimal rubber laid down. You needed to underdrive it. So that's his thoughts on assessment of the track thus far.
Yep. Well, still a few cars to go out. So our regular viewers might be saying, you know, it's normally a top 10 shootout, but we spice it up just that little bit more and make it a top 15 just for the amount of entrants that we have in this great race. And I tell you what, it makes things a little bit spicy. Coming to this one, Madison Down was 15th. Currently he's P2 at the moment. So regardless of what happens now, his top 15 shootout has been mega impressive from the struggles that he had from qualifying.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bump Zach Rattray White and just see what he has to say about Damon Woods. Because remember, these two are teammates. I asked him how the nerves were, he said chilling. And Damon, as to his thoughts about Damon Woods, really not sure. They're not sure about the track. And the other reason they think it's just a little bit greasy is you've got to sit down the end of the pit lane. Temperature saps out of these tyres. Just a little bit. But I think he actually made a couple leaps forward from qualifying. So starting to get a little bit of feedback from the drivers on this one. Nice and accurate through Sector 1 for car 56 to the chase. Remember the big old movie made in GT Pro here just last night. Looking to beat a 47.404 to go purple, but a 47.444 was the time for pole. He beats Brady Myers by 0.02 of a second to the first timing line. So it is tight. How tight has it been between so many of those drivers across the sectors? When you compare them sector to sector, there's nothing in it.
Absolutely. Well, it says the quality of the drivers and the teams that we've got in our series, doesn't it? You know, it's one of the toughest grids to make. You know, the talent pool that we have in the Logitech Pro Series is second to none. And at the end of the day, you've always put the wall on the inside. Just didn't quite.
I thought he went left-handed side of the road to the right-hand side of the road. He might have just missed it. A little bit of a wiggle as he comes throughout the other side. 30.450 means that he is approximately a 10th down in that middle sector for Damon Woods compared to Brady Myers. But the good news is that actually holds him in good stead compared to the rest of the field. Is he going to be able to find something over Myers in the final sector? It'd require a new best final sector. A lot of curb usage at the apex of the chase. Now he'll fire it down the other side. Murray's corner to come. Looking for a big solid time in the final sector. Can Damon Woods go to the top of the session? Final turn. Slides it out the other side. 48.467. He won't, but I think that's good enough. It's only 5th best. So again, a ton of drivers improving. A ton of them improving.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I think everyone's now sort of just wondering now, like, just looking at the track up here, you can see there's more sunlight now on the racetrack. So something that Josh Anderson, he'll be assessing the situation now, just bringing up that little bit of temperature, not going too hard on these tyres.
And remember, we had an onboard shot, or at least a side skirt shot of Brady Myers through turn 1. This is the onboard shot. Now we'll get to see what that opposite lock looked like when he picked up the throttle. Yeah, that's a lot of it.
Yeah, 2 grabs at it. But where we thought it was really going to hurt him, it didn't. He still carried really, like he managed to get away with it. We thought that slide might hurt him, but he actually put together a decent first sector and obviously went on with it. Oh, look at that track. It's coming down again. Oh, no. There's another TTR car on track. The temperature's gone down. I don't believe it.
Well, there
are going to be riots in the streets.
This is the final of the Trans-Tasman Racing cars. 6th place in qualifying for Josh Anderson. Got his first ever Toyota 86 win just last weekend from Sandown as a support category for the 500. It was in a wet race. Could this man be praying that the heavens open tomorrow? Could there be some speed on board car 36 in the wet? For right now, though, it's a dry qualifying lap, a track all to himself. This is a man who'll be a little bit confident, a little bit quiet, but then again, if he pulls off the lap, I reckon he'll still be kicking himself, you know.
I'm just thinking to myself, what's going to happen? Josh, I love you, mate, but if you grab pole position or a pole position at the moment, there might be riots in the streets. We're going to have TTR in the top 4 at this stage, if it comes about. But the top, what have we got? Yeah, top 3, top 4. So, but Anderson, we're looking for his first sector. 47.4s is about where he needs to be. Oh, looks good. Turns it in nice. Good on throttle.
Rode the bump well out the other side of the cutting as well. 47.418. Tell you what, that is the 3rd best time through Sector 1 thus far today. Means that he is up on Brady Myers at the moment by 26 thousandths of a second to Sector 1.
That turn-in looked good.
Nice and accurate up across the top. What's the curb usage like down through the S's? Compliant. Turns into, ooh, the rear end wanted to come around a little bit on him, but he was able to ride with it. To Sector 2 timing line, 30.467. I tell you what, he's going to be less than a 1/10 of a second down. Brady Myers was quickest to Sector 2. He was purple in Sector 2. He's gained exactly 1/10 over Josh Anderson. So Anderson's lost an entire 10th in Sector 2 compared to his stablemate. He was up by 26 thousandths of a second. Now he's down by 3/4 of a 10th. It's going to need a good chase, a big final sector from Ando. What's he got for us?
It's good. It's going to be a big ask to pull that time back. But at least it should be good enough to put him at least inside the top 5. It's going to be a drag race to the line now. He stops the clock at a 2:06.301. That moves him to 4th.
And final sector was poor, unfortunately, from Ando. That's actually where he lost the bulk of his time, was in that final sector. Have a look between himself and Jake Maloney. He's only 7 thousandths behind Maloney, you know. And you're right, Trans-Tasman 1, 2, 3, 4, although Ando's probably had the better of the conditions of those last couple, so he will be kicking himself about that lap.
Although it looks good up top here, just from that camera angle. Look how overcast it is here, so I think Griffin Gardner will be stoked about that fact. But just coincidence that every time a TTR car happened to hit the track, the old temperature went down a little bit. So take nothing away from them. They all drove great laps, but just seeing what we're seeing at the moment, I think Griff Gardner would be pretty happy with that lack of UV at the top of the mountain. He's hoping it'll stick around like that for the next minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Now about 5:15 p.m. from Bathurst, and if Zach Caban asked me if it's daylight savings time or not, I don't have an answer for him. I just know it's 5:15 p.m. in the sim, which means that the UV will be starting to come off that track. A little bit of cloud cover will help. But for Griffin Gardner, man has been also on Lobs Esports, off of Lobs Esports and on to Chiefs Esports Club, and now to a privateer livery for the Bathurst 1000. What has car number 93 got for us here this evening?
brakes as he got on the throttle. Just stepped down a little bit, but from what we saw from Brady Myers, I don't think we need to be too concerned about that just yet, because Brady was able to hold on to it, even though he had a little bit of a slide there too. So, again, car looks good. Turns in nice. He's not fighting the wheel too much there, using up all part of the racetrack there. Into the cutting, hard on the limiter. 47.4s is what we need to see roughly when he stops the clock in Sector 1.
4:06. That is new. Second best Sector 1 time. Bo Albert's the only driver that's gone quicker to Sector 1 today, which means that he is up by about 38 thousandths of a second, 300ths of a second, nearly a fourth for the first sector line. And aggressive too. Did you see the curb usage?
Yeah, but he did it perfect. He didn't pick up any grass, and he did it perfect. So nice and turning in the dipper too. Car looks settled. Second spec to split, 30.433. So lost a tiny bit off Myers.
Maybe about 300ths down to Brady Myers at Sector 2. That is going to be about one of the most important splits today. He'd be up on just about everyone else at this point in time. He's tracking to pop in ahead of Madison Down at this point in time, but Down had a supreme final sector. This lap, if he wants to go to pole, is going to have to be a little bit better. It's going to have to be a 1, I think, in the final sector for me. A 48.1 is what's required if he wants to move up to the top end of the standings. For Griffin Gardner, for car 93, final corner, again, no major wheel work. It drives nice and accurately out the other side. 48.172. That is new fastest time for the day. Griffin Gardner goes to the top.
Well done. Great drive from Griffin Gardner. Straight to the top of the timesheets. Absolutely nothing in it between him and Brady Myers. I think he was just reveling in the fact that he put together a great lap. The UV over the top of the mountain. Have a look at this. We're watching it live. I could see just how close he got up there. My goodness, there was even sparks there. So he left absolutely nothing on the table and gone fast enough to take P1.
Phenomenal. And it was the final sector. That is the new purple sector to that final timing line. And he was so close to nicking it at Sector 1 as well. James Scott completes the trio of drivers that made the jump from Lobs Esports to the Chiefs Esports Club. A lot of conjecture about what 2026 holds for a man who's been around for a long period of time, who's been successful, who's been there and thereabouts, an absolute stalwart of the sim racing community, not just for the way that he goes about his racing, but the speed that he's had over such a long period of time as well.
Just keeping an eye on the track temperature. So 24 degrees now, track temperature. So it's gone, it's had its little peak. It started at 24.8, I think. Now it's at 24.4. So it might be probably around the best conditions we've had. So could we see a pole position from Scott? We've got about 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes to find out.
For James Scott, he would love a pole position from Bathurst to put a big note into the tail end of the year. One more round left in the championship after today. After tomorrow. Again, was speedy at turn 1 by the look of that. A little bit of attitude, but the right amount of attitude for me. If you're not pressing on, you can't see a little bit of that press, and you're not going to be creating speed. He was certainly challenging the limit of grip.
Good on Apex. Didn't get away from him on exit up over that curb. Sometimes that can be real tricky. You can light up the rears. His turn-in's nice. Again, Sector 1, we're looking for 47.406 was our fastest. 47.435. So he's there within a whisker. Looks like that cloud cover. Look how dark it is now. It's getting much darker than what we saw earlier. There was bright sunshine on the racetrack. You could see the shadows from the cars, the trees. These conditions are really playing into James Scott's hands right now as he's got half a lap to go as he starts to work his way down the bottom of the mountain into the dipper.
to steal pole position from here. It's going to take a 2:05 now, and his car 088 capable of it. 30.417. I tell you what, he's halved the margin to Griffin Gardner to sector 2. At the end of the first sector, it was 29 thousandths of a second. At the end of the second sector, it is 13 thousandths of a second in favour of Gardner. But Gardner was the fastest car to the final sector. This is getting tight amongst the top group of drivers. Griffin Gardner was fifth out in this, fifth from the qualifying session. James Scott is fourth. There's 3 more drivers to come after this one. To the chase. Little bit of curb usage on the entry, but it was nice. It was square. It drove off nicely and out the other side. For James Scott, this car isn't capable. The first 2:05 of the day. Final corner. He's going to need a low 48.1 to steal this in the final sector. Doesn't get it. 2:06.115. It's a 2:64 at the final sector, and he will go to P3 right now. Brady Myers' lap is also looking supreme.
Yeah, great lap. I think he didn't get pole position for the moment, but still not a bad lap though. Only just over a 10th off. So P3, a great run. I think he'd be pretty happy with that for the moment.
Yeah, good start. Gets him up, gets him amongst the action. For Andrew Gilliam. He was very embarrassed to be crying on national TV when the car he was engineering was Richie Stanoways from the Bathurst 1000. I talked to him a few times across the weekend, was keeping in touch with him. He said they did a lot of work, they did a lot of prep work, making sure they had a great car for the wet. The Bathurst 1000 Premier Racing team. Unfortunately, it just did not go their way on race day. But he's a lovely guy, easy to chat to is Gilly. And you know, the funniest part about that whole weekend was I went and took a photo of him. He was wearing a jacket that it looked like he was a headlight. It was just the reflections of it. But he's an awesome character, awesome bloke to go and chat to. You got to speak to him at Queensland Raceway as well.
Yeah, absolutely, great guy. And yeah, we're lucky to have him in our series. And mate, he doesn't need to hang his head about Bathurst to be in that sort of position, you know, in the real world. And you know, him living his dream, being a race engineer, and being so close, like that's heartbreaking. And he'll get there. He's a great guy, and now his eyes focused now on trying to get pole position in the virtual world.
Do you think it adds a bit more pressure tomorrow when he knows that he's going to be lining up alongside a Shane Van Gisbergen for car 201? For Lobs Esports, the Chevy will fire out of the last corner. The first of the Lobs Esports cars. Phil Sell to come. And Rattray White before we even get there as well for the Eclipse stable. For Andrew Gilliam, I tell you what, he drove that off square, but it looked quick off of turn 1.
Good run. I mean, other than what we saw with Brady Meyer, I think Brady's looked probably the messiest out of all the laps, and it was still very fast. So, and that's probably been the surprising thing, is that the cars really haven't been wild, have they? Everyone's been doing a really good job. Just using up all the racetrack there. A little bit of UV here. I know we keep harping on that, but it does affect these cars. So these drivers, in as far as lap time, they don't want to see these shadows. They want to see it sort of dark and miserable. 47.2. He's fast.
That's the new fastest first sector time of the day, but he got the fence immediately after the sector. And I wonder whether or not that's going to cost him. The benefit for now is his 10th and a half up at the first sector time, but I think that wall tap is going to cost him in sector 2. He needs to, his target lap time, the best so far has been Brady Myers at 30.365 in sector 2. He's gone purple sector 1 as Andrew Gilliam. Down through the dipper. It was reasonably quick. 34.33. That actually matches Griffin Gardner's sector 2 time to this point. And Griffin Gardner, so he loses nothing in sector 2, but he's gained a 10th and a half in sector 1. So for Gilliam, he comes into this one knowing, well, he probably doesn't know at the moment, but we know he's up. He's up by a reasonable margin over those around him. Down through the chase. Now he'll have to jump on the anchors. Did you see that thing climb the curb? Again, accurate.
Wheel work. The wheel work is good too. He wasn't out of control on exit. Last corner. It all comes down to this exit. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle just as he turned in. Caught a little bit of the ripple on the inside. He'll cross the line. And his time goes top. 2:05.8.
The first of the 5s today. We said it was going to take A 5 to steal pole position for Andrew Gilliam. He gets it done in that final sector.
That was super fast.
Unfortunately, it looks like our Sector 3 timing unbroke, so I don't actually have an accurate Sector 3 time. I could probably get it for you in just a few moments. But for Zach Rattray White, car number 17, one of the men with the heftiest schedule for the weekend. He climbed out of this supercar, climbed on board a Porsche car, and back into the supercar for a lap inside the shootout. His first ever shootout.
How's that? Good way of prepping for race miles, isn't it? For Bathurst. Obviously cutting some laps here in the Porsche and now jumping back into the supercar.
Sector time in the final sector is our fastest of the day. It's a 48.136 for Andrew Gilliam. Sorry, just had to grab the calculator. So he went purple Sector 1 and Sector 3. But we did lose timing on that final sector. We didn't actually grab a read on it.
Now he's prepped. He turns in. It's getting that power to the ground now. All eyes are now onto turn 1. Downshift was good. Turn is good. His exit, not too bad considering some of the fastest times that we've seen. Some of the drivers there on exit, the cars have got away from it a little bit, so take nothing away there from Zach. And you can see just those conditions a little bit more overcast too. He's chasing down a decent first sector. The fastest first sector we've seen was run by Gilliam, a 47.239. So he needs to be in that ballpark if he wants to be a threat for pole.
Got to get into the 5s. I reckon it's going to take a 5.6 to feel comfortable. But that's going to be an impressive lap time. Mr. Consistent. Mr. Oh my word, that thing was sideways. 47.327. He is down to Gilliam in Sector 1 by 1/10 of a second. That is a monster mountain to climb. But I tell you what, it's the second fastest Sector 1 of the day. So at the moment, based upon that trajectory, he's on track. He's just going to make sure he keeps it together. It's been wild and woolly. This is the first time we've seen somebody have a super scruffy Sector 2. It didn't look good coming off the dipper either. This is going to be a slow in Sector 2. You know what? It's actually not. It's the quickest one we've had today.
Just as you were saying, I was looking at it going, hold on a second, I think he's gone purple in Sector 2. So as bad as it might have looked, he's wringing his neck and he's grabbed that time. So now it's all about the charge to see if he can finish it. He needs to beat a 2:05.808 for pole.
You know what? He pegged back 0.08 of a second in that sector. There was, I think, about 16 thousandths of a second between Andrew Gilliam and Zach Rattray White to the Sector 2 line. The chase looks good. Did he get a good exit off the elbow? Did he carry that speed all the way down the straight? Gil was purple in the final sector. It's going to take something from that. I think it might be a 5. What has he got for us? It's a 5, but it's a 9.10. It'll be row 2 at worst for Zach Rattray White. Gilliam's going to start on the front row. That much we know.
Wow. Cracking lap there from Zach. We got to ride on board through parts of that lap too. Oh, mate, 5.9. He's got to be absolutely stoked with that, though. Have a look at this car control. This is on the limit. He's just there. He's keeping his foot in it because he knows he can't afford to give up time. He gets away with it. Actually, still a little bit of real estate. Oh, just as I say that, as it straightens up, man, not much in it there. But he got away with it. Great car control. And like you said, worst case scenario, he'll start P3 for tomorrow's big one. And look at the conditions. I reckon this might be the best we've seen the track.
Told you.
24 degrees. Yep, look at that. The track's just getting cooler and cooler. So this is working definitely in Joe Philcell's favour. He doesn't need any help. He's been the fastest guy all year. He's been fast in qualifying. And now I think everything is sort of working for him. And he may come away with a pole position, but we will find out. in just over 2 minutes' time.
See, the big thing is he's actually focused on a little bit of tyre warming as Jared Filson. Nobody else has been weaving this much and bringing the tyres up. He's been the only one to do it. Is there a gain for car number 94? Jared Filsell, co-driver Brody Kostecki. He's been Mr. Quick all season long. Has rattled off pole position, win, 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 win. He'd love to grab another one here. He'd love to win the True Force Endurance Cup alongside Kostecki with 3 wins from 3 races. But that all starts with the top 15 shootout. And he's going to need to put a reasonable lap together here if he wants to start right up at the pointy end. But he was in the 205s in that qualifying session earlier on. Accurate at turn 1, accurate at turn 2. A little bit of play in the rear end of the car, but it looked compliant.
Yeah, it looks good. I think it's looking real good for him at the moment. The car looks great. UV's dropped. And that sector, 47.203. So fastest. Yeah, that's a purple sector 1 for Jared Filsell. This is making his night just look that little bit easier. Car looks good over the top of the mountain. Oh, he does kiss the concrete. So the sparks fly off the right rear. So far, so good as he comes in down to the dipper.
Top 15 shootout time, and the fans across the top would be going absolutely nuts. Look at the attitude on it through the dipper. He turned it in, and it just wanted to turn. Carries it all the way to the fence. He turns in. Elbow now, 30.417. It's not the quickest time in Sector 2, but it is better than Gilliam. So he's got his teammate by a couple of hundredths in Sector 1. Couple more in Sector 2. Gil went purple, Sector 1, Sector 3. He's already ripped Sector 1 away from him. From Jared Filsell. He wants to win this damn championship. He wants that number 1 to go on his car. Can his teammate Brody Kostecki sit alongside of him and help him pave the way? At the end of Bathurst Sunday, he's got a chance to win the championship. But before we get there, will he take place seat pole position? Will he score a top 15 shootout pole for Jared Filsell? One more corner, one more opportunity. The last car. What's the time going to be? 761 to the top.
205.761. Well done, Jared Filsell. He's been the measure all season long in the Logitech G Pro Series. And he's gone out and put out an absolute belter. Great lap. He got the conditions at the right time. Don't take anything away from him or the Lobs team. They've done a brilliant job. They will start on the front row of the Bathurst 1000.
Gets it done. And this is the wild moment up and across the top. You got to carry speed. You got to challenge things. Takes a bit of curb just before you get to McPhillamy. How about the road usage all the way to the wall? We saw Griffin Gardner go quick, but tag the fence right here. What's it look like?
You're going to see sparks. I'm pretty sure we saw them when we were watching it live. And sure enough, I'll tell you what, that's probably just the rim, just the wheel rim, just buffing up against the concrete. And that's where the sparks came from. It was just a tremendous lap. He did everything right. And, mate, he starts in the best possible position in P1 with his teammate alongside. It's going to be a heck of a race, the big one, the Bathurst 1000 tomorrow. And we've already seen a brilliant top 15 shootout.
You know what's really cool is have a look at the margins in that front row. 2 minutes, 6.2 Ks, and there was less than half a tenth between those two guys.
What about Madison Down? Madison Down started 15th coming into this one. He'll come out 7th for the start.
Yeah, so he's going to be the biggest gainer. The other ones as well, I think, has got to be probably Jake Maloney. Josh Anderson's a little bit of a loser out in that one. But Adam Briggs as well goes from 13th to 10th. So he gains 3 spots in terms of qualifying. So your grid for tomorrow's Bathurst 1000 to kick off at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Jared Filsell takes pole position. That's the story. That's been the story all season long. From Andrew Gilliam, Zach Rattray-White from Griffin Gardner, Brady Myers and James Scott on row 3. Then it's all the Trans-Tasman boys that got the benefit of the conditions. And there'll be debates about whether there's divine help in this one. Madison Down from Jake Maloney, Josh Anderson from Adam Briggs to round out the 10. Damon Woods will be a little bit annoyed with that lap to be a little bit further back. Didn't quite put it together, as did Ethan Grigg, Bo Albert, Matt Bowler, and Dylan Rudd. Ruddy came into this one 9th, leaves in 15th. Gee, he won't be happy. He'll be a little bit annoyed with that one.
Well, look, at the end of the day, it's the biggest race of the season. It's the Bathurst 1000. So obviously everyone wants pole position, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that didn't qualify for this race altogether. So the best part is they're on the grid and it's a very long race tomorrow.
And the man of the moment, Jared Philsell, onboard car number 94, mate. Qualifying went your way. Car looked quick in there. I think that was probably a lot more of a tricky session than the qualifying session earlier on. Everyone I messaged got a response from said, yeah, look, conditions were a little bit difficult to read. Track state, we didn't quite know what we were going into. How was the confidence level heading into that lap? And mate, you've done it that many times before. I feel like the nerves wouldn't have been up there at all. You would have felt quietly confident.
No, there's also always some kind of nerves with a shootout lap. You only get to do it once a year, unfortunately, but it makes it special. Yeah, no, that was pretty ballsy lap there. Gilly left me honest there. I knew his lap was really, really good after the first few sectors and whatnot. I didn't actually have a time in my dash to actually reference off, other than one that was pretty unrealistic, unrealistic target. So yeah, that was a bit annoying to start the lap, but I'm pleased to come away with pole. I was pretty much crashing down the hill. That was pretty scary.
Mate, looks like a challenge. We noticed there was a little bit of contact just up and around the grate as well on the outside barriers and the wild ride down through the dipper. But hey, the lap's in the books. You've managed to grab that position. I guarantee you would have been thinking about the shootout all week long, but the focus has always got to be on that race. How does the race car stack up compared to that tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly right. You don't get points for quali, but it's always fun fully sending it around here. I really enjoy it. But yeah, the points are tomorrow, and to be honest, we didn't do much on the quali car. We spent a lot more time on the race car than the quali car because that's where the bills are paid. So yeah, race car feels fine. I don't have any problems with it. We've made some really, really good inroads with help from everyone having a lot of input, including Thomas, believe it or not. But no, he's been really, really fast as well. So yeah, looking forward to a good showing from our guys tomorrow if they can keep their noses clean.
Final question I've got for you: championship. You need 21st spot tomorrow to clinch it. Has that been talked about and discussed at any point?
Nah. You know what happened last year.
Good. That's the exact response that I wanted to know. So for me and for you, well, I think for you, I think what that says to us is that my only thought is win the race tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, ever since this series has come out, Lob's drivers, even though they've been in different teams, have won this race. So we'd like to keep that record going, whether it's myself, Gilly, or Luke. That's the goal for tomorrow.
Mate, finally, anyone you'd like to give a big thank you and a shout out to before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening, because I think tonight's probably the most important night of sleep of the year. Yeah, definitely. I'll try and get some shut-eye pretty early tonight, I'd hope, just to wake up nice and fresh tomorrow. But obviously all the guys at Lobs, they've all had an immense amount of input into the setup and the direction we want to head for tomorrow, including Shane, even though he was on the fence for a bit whether he was going to do it or not. He's put the hours in, limited hours that is, that he can do it. But yeah, his knowledge and expertise is invaluable as well as Brody's. But it's all the guys at Lobs for getting it done this week. It's a busy week, and I'd like to thank all those guys, and obviously you guys for the broadcast as well. I've watched a little bit tonight, in between the Ashes and whatnot. It's been a great spectacle. Yeah, mate, it's absolutely ruined my night that we had to go live right before the Ashes finished. So thanks at least for pointing that out. Mate, congratulations on that one. Enjoy, and I know that you'll be looking forward to that race tomorrow in the first lap. So go off, get some sleep, and enjoy the rest of the evening, brother. Yep, thank you. Well, 15 laps from the shootout have been run, and they are in the books. But it is exactly as he just said. The only thing that matters is 1,000 kilometers tomorrow. Logitech Logitech True Force Endurance Cup comes to its finale at, mate, let's just brag a little bit about how great this racetrack is. The best track on the planet. 1,000 kilometers, and the article this week I wrote was 1,000 reasons. It's 1,000 reasons it can go right, but it's also 1,000 reasons it can go wrong.
Absolutely. It's definitely one of the hardest races to win, and anyone who's been lucky enough to do it knows how difficult it can be and how special it is to go away with a win too. So I'll be extremely jealous tomorrow when I know that all these drivers get a chance to line up and tackle the mountain, but excited and pumped to be in the commentary box to bring it to everyone around Australia and around the world with yourself, Scotty, and of course Jay behind the scenes. It's going to be a big one. It's our biggest broadcast. It's our biggest race of the year, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it's so big we had to get an extra commentator in just to make sure that we're all comfortable to make the end of the race, because even we suffer from fatigue up here. 1,000 kilometers. 1,000 kilometers of this very mountain. Mount Panorama Bathurst, the Logitech V8 Pro Invitational Series. Live coverage tomorrow, Sunday, the 23rd of November from 11 a.m. AEDT. Man, we'd be in trouble if it was 11 p.m. AEDT. But we will see you all there. There's gridding, there's a little bit of preamble to go, and then we let them loose. V8 supercars. There'll be a lot of them at the mountain tomorrow. You cannot afford to miss this. Do we crown a champion on the same day as we crown our Bathurst champion? You'll have to tune in tomorrow to find out. For now, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Australian Sim Racing Group, on behalf of SimSpeed, the comms box, everyone that's been a part of this one, on behalf of the sponsors, Playseat, we just decided our Playseat pole position, the Gamesman and Logitech G. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you tomorrow when we go racing for the Bathurst 1000.
You've always felt it, that spark, that pull. Watching the greats carve through history. Every turn, risk, reward. Now you don't just watch. You step inside. You take the wheel. Together, we're breaking barriers between sim and sport. Setting a new standard for performance. So with the power in your palms, the roar in your ears, and the position of a pro, let's turn dream to drive and play to podium. Our legacy, now yours. Welcome to the grid.